Hello and welcome to episode 101. We're starting a new batch of 100 episodes. It is April 27th, 2025. It has been 3 weeks this time, so not quite a month. We're picking up the pace just a little bit. Maybe moving forward, we'll get more content out, but I did say maybe. Welcome to the show, Allison. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I've noticed that I rip through both of your names and I don't give you a chance to say anything. So I
It's all
figure I'll
good.
give you a chance. And how are you, Andrew? How's it going?
I am splendid, delightful, angry, ready to rock and roll. I have a
With a
rant
fresh haircut.
loaded with a fresh haircut and my red hat because we're representing the OGs today, Terry.
Oh, well, I need a bit of a haircut. I'll probably give myself a haircut after this and trim up a little bit before
Nobody
the
likes
work
5
week
o'clock shadow
starts.
on a bald man.
Yeah, exactly. It's way back here in the back. It's just, yeah.
And you
But
had that knot removed, so now you can
oh,
shave
yeah, I
easier.
did talk about that on
That's
here, didn't I?
right.
Yeah.
I was
Terry
thinking
had
about
a
that
knot
the other day. I
removed.
was rubbing my head and I was like, that's smooth.
That feels right. I like
Yeah,
it.
like, man, it's proper. But you see the graphic that we have. I did
Mhm.
not tell ChatGPT that I wanted to kick Hulk Hogan in the head, but
Hey,
ChatGPT knew
hey.
that that's what I wanted to do. So
I do
that's
love
what we
that there's
got.
a castle in the background. That just makes
I
it
did
fun.
tell it ChatGPT I wanted a castle and some clouds in the background,
So does
and I
this make
wanted to be left to right.
Hulk Hogan King Koopa? Is that what we're saying? And he's kidnapped the princess?
I don't know. This is a small guy. Looks like more like a Koopa Troopa here.
Oh, it could be a
Yeah,
Koopa Troopa.
could be.
Good stuff.
It's old school, it's nostalgia, it's TNA Top 10.
Yeah.
What
That's
can we
right.
say?
We're old, so that's what we do.
Hey.
Speak for yourself, sir. My birth year, my age still has a 3 in the front of it for another 8 months.
So anybody watching, you can
Child.
see that my son, my oldest son, is in town. He drove from California on his way to his next spot. He's in the Coast Guard, so he brought me a whiskey glass, if I can pull it over here, and it's got a bullet with a propeller on it. And I love to spin this while I get myself drunk.
Mhm.
I love
That's
it.
what he said somewhere, but we're gonna let that one go. I love to
That's
spin
what
this
he
till I get
said.
myself drunk. Helicopter, helicopter.
Well, I mean,
Anyway,
speaking of getting yourself drunk, so I recently returned from a trip to Mexico,
were you
and
drunk?
uh, a little bit sometimes. I mean, it was an all inclusive. To be fair, I brought Lex.
Can't hide money.
Hey, look, it was an all inclusive, all adults only, um, resort with a gigantic freaking set of water slides. So it was perfect. But I actually wanted to point out something today. I know I usually do producers pissed,
Hmm.
but today I'm gonna do the producer is not pissed,
Oh
and
wow!
I'm gonna send out a little shout out and a thank you, um,
Excellent.
both to the resort, which was the Rio Latino, and every single person that apparently was there at the same time, because not only was this probably one of the best vacations that Lex and I have ever had, it was the first vacation where people talked to Lex like he was any other human being. That kid had such a great vacation simply because people treated him like everybody else. And I know it doesn't sound like much, but for him and I, that was everything.
So
So
this
again,
was adults only resort,
it
right?
18 and over. Yep. So no
Do
kids.
you think that maybe that was a factor? You think with their kids around, maybe people are
Absolutely.
different? Okay.
Absolutely I do. I think also, he'd have a couple of times where he'd get really excited about something and he does this
Hmm.
thing. You might have seen it where he runs back and forth really quick and then
Hell,
just
I'll do
stops.
that.
Right. People normally will like give him side eye, will, make a little snarky comment. People were just laughing and were like, "Are you having the best time? Because it looks like you are." And he's
That's
like, "Yep,
awesome.
this is great." Also, another thing I learned, it is really easy to teach your children to go get a virgin drink and a regular drink and bring them back to you at the pool. So shout out.
Did we have to say left hand your drink, right hand? Drink?
He learned to put a piece of fruit on my drink.
Oh.
He knew which one was which.
Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
the skills, the life lessons.
That's a good life lesson. Yeah.
Good one. And it was a wonderful trip. Lex determined he really loves virgin strawberry daiquiris. So
Who doesn't? It's like
Oh,
right?
it's just
yeah.
like candy. Yeah, even without the rum in it, it's just candy.
Exactly. He was thrilled. So again, just a special shout out and thank you because it made a great vacation even better.
Awesome.
But I'm not going to let you get away with that because
All right, let's go.
our people come to listen to the New
Yeah.
York Allison rant about
right,
whatever is on her mind.
I got
And
a
I
little
happen to know that the flight
one.
back to Connecticut
All right.
was something to be desired.
Okay. So, all right. Ooh, this is a good one. So the flight lands. I flew to Boston directly from Cancun. Not only, and I've said this before, I get really annoyed when people get up and stand in the aisle. We had an entire family. We weren't even off like the runway yet. Okay. Stand up and push their way to the front of the plane. We need to get off. We have to get off. And people are like, oh, do you have a connection? Nope. We just have to get off. So we're all looking at each other like, I'm sorry, didn't realize you were the Queen of England. All right, whatever. Best part comes instant karma when the captain comes on. He's like, yeah, so we don't have a gate. We got to get like moved by a trolley or something. So if you're standing right now, go back to your seat. The pure joy of having to watch these people walk all the way back to their seat. And then the minute we got into the gate, everybody stepped into the aisle so they couldn't go anywhere. And
That's
was
great.
Karmic bliss.
When I last flew from Tampa rather, into Raleigh, I sat there and waited like you're supposed to do to grab your bag out of the overhead compartment. Because as you all know, I do not check bags. This is a rule. I do not check a bag.
Right.
Only carry on. And did it again. Terry's laughing, but it was successful.
We are so opposite. Anyway,
Yeah.
go ahead.
So I did not check a bag, of course, and I just sit there and wait. And when we get to about the third row before me, just coming, everybody getting up and leaving, that's when I finally decide to stand up. I don't know what your hurry is, but all those people in front of you have to get off the damn plane first. So what are you waiting on?
I've been known to apologize because I didn't go and I wasn't paying attention. But
Okay.
the reason I say we're opposite is I always check a bag even for one night.
Same.
For several reasons. One of those is I don't want to have to deal with getting my overhead bag. So I just have a backpack in front of me and I grab it and I'm done at that point. So we definitely view these things differently.
We do. But the travel bag is going to be fantastic for the 5-day trips and not the trips where we have multiple outfits. So.
Yeah.
Oh, multiple outfits is a one night thing. What are you talking about? At least 4 pair of shoes. What are you talking
about? It is crazy what they're doing now. So United and Delta are changing their baggage, as is Southwest changing their baggage rules. So everybody's going to get charged. Everybody's going to have to pay. Unless you do what I do. One bag, take it on the plane.
Or you do what I do and you have the airline credit card so you don't pay for the bag.
That's also true. You can do that. But see, Medusa just got back from Indy and she's flying Delta. And I told her, fuck Delta. I'll never fly Delta again. That is awful. Delta sucks. We go to Las Vegas in July. Oh, we're having weight and balance issues. You think? It's 110 fucking degrees outside. Did you all forget this is Las Vegas? Just asking. That would be a great segue to WrestleMania, but we're not there yet.
Not there yet.
Oh, and by the way, ladies and gentlemen, Allison Faye did not go to WrestleMania in her favorite city on earth, Las Vegas.
No, and I'm so glad I didn't, but we'll touch on that later.
Oh my God, how disappointing would you be having? We'll get there.
We'll get there. Absolutely. Trust
so
me.
Easter was last week.
Yes.
It was.
Last week?
Good. It was, yes. Last weekend, yes.
Yeah.
So did you guys do anything special for Easter?
I served in a parking lot. We had a full church service. So there you go.
Nice. Good.
Nothing out of the ordinary. Just
Mm-mm.
regular family things.
Yeah,
It's
Lex and
become a
I.
regular
Saw my
Sunday without
kids.
so many people around these days.
Yeah, I get
Well, I
that.
didn't see all my kids. I'm sorry. My
Okay.
older son did. He was driving from California to Alabama, and he was
Mhm.
about halfway on Easter.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, because this year, both Easters were on the same day.
Right.
So everybody who's listening knows I'm Greek, so usually it's a 3 out of 4 years it's a different day. So this year, since it was on the same day, I opted not to drive to New York. Lex and I just stayed home. We painted marshmallows instead of dyeing eggs because eggs cost a lot, and I
And you
had
don't
no-
eat eggs anyway.
and I don't eat eggs anyway. So
you have money. Tell the truth. It's not about the eggs.
It's not about the money.
it's about hard boiling eggs. All right, let's be fair. Allison is not hard boiling eggs in her house.
Oh
Future
yeah.
note to Frank, that ain't happening. So no.
There is a good,
But-
I'll throw in the Bob's Burgers. There's a good Bob's Burgers episode where they accidentally leave one somewhere in the house and they smell it. And they can't find it.
Okay.
No.
Legit worst fear of my life. Oh,
Now she does okay when you're eating eggs in front of her,
right.
believe it or not.
Absolutely.
But
In a restaurant, because there's enough other smells and airflow that it's not
And they're definitely fresh unless there's some real problem.
correct. Yeah.
yeah,
So that's fine.
yeah. But no, that is hilarious when she says it's because they cost too much.
I know. It's like when I hear people,
Right.
I mean, I got to be honest. People are complaining about the price of eggs. And I know this is not a I've got money thing because eggs don't cost shit. I mean,
Oh, yeah, no, I know.
price of a car, okay. Price of eggs, you ain't spending much.
Yeah, it's not the same.
I know.
But
Andrew-
they have taken advantage of the fact that there was the bird flu and they did
Correct.
raise the prices
Yeah.
of eggs to
Yeah.
a stupid amount of money. But once they get the egg quota back in line, your eggs will be back to $2 a
Well,
dozen
don't
or
worry.
whatever.
They're not studying the bird flu anymore, so it'll go away real quick.
Oh God, did I open
Because
that door?
everything,
My
all
bad.
prices, they always balance out in the consumer's favor really quickly, don't they?
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah. Because see, here's the thing: as a finance manager in a car business, and I've been working in it for 14 years, all those prices that went up, have you all seen them come back down? Oh, you haven't. There's a
No.
reason for that. Because once you pay it, they're not bringing them back. That's the thing. Like it's just
Speaking
the way
of that,
the
I'm
world
probably
works.
buying a house next year. So
That boy. We'll
Well,
have a
I
house
need-
warming party.
I need
Golden
a
Girls
car,
style.
so we're-
Cheesecake and snarky comments.
Yeah.
That's what we'll do, Terry.
yeah.
We'll all
Oh,
show
I
up in
made
our
the comment
our
the other day about
muumuus.
cheesecake.
We'll show
You
up
just
in our
give-
muumuus and our gray wigs.
Yeah, just give Allison a reason to travel. And you know I'm down. So I mean,
Hey, I
I'll just-
told her I still got Savannah Bananas tickets.
I know.
coming up.
I'm,
But we
I'm
got-
looking.
No, that's okay. That's okay. But Cyrus and I are going to go. I don't know what I'm going to do with the other tickets. We will see. I'm not
Just figure
selling
it
them.
out.
But it's one of those. I'll sell you these tickets, but you got to sit right beside me. Or maybe invite somebody else. I don't know. We're
Just
gonna
know-
be in Nissan Stadium, like
Oh,
the
yeah.
upper deck of Nissan Stadium,
Yeah.
watching a baseball game. So
So
we'll
you're-
only be able to see the guy on stilts.
Yeah, so what Terry just said is we're going to be watching a baseball game on the upper deck of Nissan Stadium on the scoreboard. That's what
Pretty
Terry
much.
just said.
Pretty much.
Me and Cyrus are driving to Nashville to watch a baseball game
Watch
on
some
the big
TV.
TV.
Well,
yeah.
It
it's
did
just like
honestly. It did not cost very much at all. So
it's
that's
it's
good.
like those people who paid $2,500 to sit in the nosebleeds at Wrestlemania.
right.
Did you see those views?
Ugh. Ugh.
Oh, and the
Ugh.
screens were like this big. Oh,
That's like
Okay.
when I went to Nashville and I watched Nate Bargatze break the record at Bridgestone. They had like a 10 by 10 foot stage so they could squeeze more seats in there to break the record, and they packed the place. I was in the rafters. I got like the cheapest seat. It looked so small. Looked like a wrestling ring in one of these huge things.
Wow.
It was so tiny.
That's
what she said.
There it is. There it is.
So NFL draft. Let's move
Yeah.
on, I guess. So the
Yes.
NFL draft has been happening. Obviously, there's one major story with Shedeur Sanders, and I think there's about 25 common opinions on this, ranging from he sucks completely to he's the greatest thing ever, and why did he slip so far? The answer is somewhere in the middle. Dion is involved. His own attitude's involved. The the teams not wanting to deal with that, or a lot of teams. This was not a very good quarterback draft from the get go. Not just this is not just a Shedeur thing. Not a lot of talent at quarterback. Only a handful of teams were looking to get a quarterback. So it's one of those things where when somebody slips, they may slip a long way. So that's a factor too.
Although Cam Ward went number one in the draft. So
He did.
He went number one, but I think he went to the Titans, and God, they need all the help they can get. So,
he did go to the Titans, and I saw where he said the first thing that he's going to buy with his paycheck is more dog food.
Okay.
More dog food.
You expect it to be, I'm going to buy my mama a house.
Yeah.
More dog food is what he said.
All right then.
What was it on the Shedeur thing? Oh, Jaden Milroe went late in the thing. Will Howard from Ohio State went late in the deal. Quinn Ewers went way late. Quinn Ewers, interestingly enough, has a guaranteed salary of $700,000 to be the pick that he was this year. He turned down $8 million of NIL money from Texas to go to the NFL. Or maybe not Texas.
These guys are making less money going to the NFL than they would have in college.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah. So the big NFL draft for Nebraska was Ty Robinson. He came in at 111. That was before Shedeur Sanders, for those of you playing along at home. And he went to Philadelphia because they need more help. 6'4", 285, and runs a 4.7 40. Say big, strong, fast man who's playing defensive tackle for that particular football team that has very good defenses year in and year out in Philadelphia. Right. So they threatened to make him a fullback if they get rid of the tush push, which would be hilarious. So he can steamrolled away. But Nebraska represented very well, which is why we're going OG today, even though the Yankees won. But Nash Hutmaker made it to the Ravens, and John Bullock made it to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, signed. So they had a lot of talent. The Nebraska did. So good for them.
Auburn did not have a lot of senior talent. Auburn has not had a first-round selection since 2020. A lot of Georgia and LSU and Alabama fans tweeting that out. It will change next year. Keldrick Falk is projected top 10. When I started to say Bruce, when Hugh Freeze's recruits start getting to that age where they're moving on, then you'll see these guys show up in the first and second and third rounds, but not right now. I think the Chargers got Keandre Lambert-Smith. He played at Penn State and then Auburn and led both in receiving, but he went like fifth round or something like that. So they didn't have anybody too high. They did have Jarquez Hunter. I can't remember who drafted him, but they jumped up 10 spots and traded and got him there. So a couple of guys that are notable, but Auburn just did not have the talent depth. But they do have some guys coming up, so next year should be different.
Well, if it makes you feel better, Terry, the last time Nebraska had a top first-round draft pick was 2011, and it was Prince Amukamara, one of the better defenders that has been in the NFL recently. So Prince Amukamara, and then and that was 2011. And what's his face for that's such a good D-back for Cincinnati. I think he went second or third round. So they haven't had a and of course they had Indomitian Sue who
Right.
went, I believe he went 1, but anyway, it's been 15 years since they put a number 1 draft pick on the board in a team that used to be regularly 5 and 6 in the first and second round.
Right.
So,
Right.
he was the
Both our
second
teams are on the
overall.
rise again, though. So
Yeah,
I mean,
Sue was the second overall pick in 2010. So that's right, because I think Matthew Stafford went 1. Or maybe he didn't go 1. He went 1 the year before because he came out of Georgia. And they both ended up on Detroit. So it couldn't have been the same year. But anyway, doesn't matter. It's been a long damn time since they've had any. And it's all defenders. You know, it used to be running back university. Now it's all defense.
yeah, Nick Fairley also was right around that time and ended up in Detroit. So
Yeah.
I don't know when he went, but he was a higher pick. So Detroit-
2011, wasn't he like 3 or 4?
Yeah, he was up there. Yeah, I guess it would
'Cause
have
he-
been 2011. Yeah.
Yeah, because he went after the national championship
Right,
after they
that's
won
right.
it with yeah. So he either went in 11 or 12, and he went in the top 5.
Yeah, it's funny when your team sucks and you need guys. You're going to pick a lot of high picks several years in a row.
Well, and that's the other thing somebody said. I think it was the Bussin' with the Boys show. Is this was about linemen this year? A lot of offensive
Oh, yeah.
linemen, a lot of defensive linemen. This wasn't about quarterbacks. And you
Right.
had Cam Ward on the board. You had Shador Sanders. You had Jalen Moreau. You had Will Howard. You had Quinn Ewers. All of these guys with high success, but they weren't very well sought after. And, you know, I mean, there's reasons for that. My opinion of Shador Sanders is he was his own worst enemy and did it to himself.
Well, and another thing, it's like the fact that the Browns picked Gabriel before Sanders doesn't necessarily mean they preferred Gabriel over Sanders. It means they knew nobody else was going to try to get him until they had that other pick. You are
Right.
not going to pick a guy until you know you have to pick him before somebody else does. There's no
Right.
point in picking somebody early that you don't have to. They don't
Right.
want to do that. They're really
Correct.
picky about that.
Correct. Well, and it's so different too because you're looking at system players. You and I've said it, and I don't mind shitting on Shador Sanders because he deserves it. Little
He
punk
got
ass
pranked.
bitch.
He deserves it. He got pranked, and let's not even go there.
Yeah, he definitely deserves that.
I've heard that one of the guys, just to throw this in there, I've heard that one of the guy that was sitting on the couch in the background is the son of the defensive coordinator of the Falcons, and that's how they got the phone number.
I'll
Oh,
say that, or
wow.
Jackson Dart gave it to him because it was Old Miss, and he was doing all that
Okay.
shit talking, and Dart went ahead of him too. You know.
Wow.
But this is my thing on Shador Sanders. Like that bitch ass Caleb Williams that plays for the Bears now, he quit on his football team, got beat into submission in Lincoln, Nebraska, left the field 5 minutes before the game was even over because they hurt his little feelings because the Shador show got stopped by the number 111th draft pick, Ty Robinson and company. So Shador has no character. And then his dad is Deion Sanders. And then he makes the statements he made and apparently bombed a couple of draft interviews. If you read what you see online, well, that matters to people because it's not just about your playing ability. And then, Terry, let's get to the playing ability because you and I watch a lot of football.
Mhm.
Was he fun to watch? Sure. But was he Vince Young? Absolutely not. Okay. This guy is a video game quarterback at best. Your words, not mine. I'm giving you credit for
I
that.
do remember saying that.
But it's like, but what your point was,
They
is
don't
it's
run
like
the ball at Colorado.
they drop back and they hit, they hit the A, B, Y, X button. And which one's going to hit the pass? It's just, speaking of video games, that's what you got with Shador Sanders. Most sacked, didn't see the blind side coming a lot of times, didn't have good vision down the field, but he played in the Pac-12 where they don't play defense, and then played in the Big 12 where guess what? They still don't play defense, and he ends up, looking like some sort of superstar. He wasn't. He was not nearly as good. And without Travis Hunter or somebody like him, he wouldn't have been nearly as successful anyhow.
And Colorado had the most wide receivers drafted of any team in college football. So I remember when Peyton Manning was in college, a big thing was, look at the receivers he's got. That's not him. That's all those receivers. So, there was a lot of talent at receiver, and they didn't even try to run the ball though. I mean, their stats would be he would throw for 250, 300 on 50 passes, and they would attempt 8 rushes or something.
Yeah,
they didn't try to run the ball at all.
And then in the 1998 Fiesta Bowl, he ran into Nebraska. And they beat him 42-17, and they beat Peyton down. They held him to less than 150 yards of passing. And they beat him down because, to your point, if you don't have a run game to threaten the black shirt defense back then, and all you're going to do is drop back to pass Terry, guess what's going to happen? They're going to pin their ears back, and they're coming for you. And the problem was for Peyton Manning is Nebraska was the number 1 defense in the country. So you can't sit there and say we're not going to run the ball. They sacked him. They made him they forced interceptions. They forced fumbles. They scooped and scored. But then the next year, Vilmer and company win the national championship. And Peyton Manning still went number 1 in the draft. So that ass kicking that he took didn't really hurt his draft stock. And if you remember, sir, Peyton goes to the Colts, and he didn't really have a great first couple of years.
Right.
But when he got Reggie Wayne, and when he got Marvin Harrison, and when he got the tight end, I always forget his name. And then they had the running back, Joseph Adai, and the one before that, Dallas Clark, I think, was his tight end.
Dallas Clark was the was that who it was? I'll look it up. Make sure.
Was it Dallas Clark? Well, anyway, it may not have been Clark. The point being, once Peyton had people to throw the ball to,
it was Dallas Clark.
And he changed the way professional football was played. The hurry up, the changing, the Omaha, everything people make fun of. And then Tom Brady took it to another level and won 7 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
So
it was Dallas Clark. Sorry.
No, it's fine. But I knew that it was Reggie Wayne and Marvin Harrison, obviously. You talk about some threat, and then you throw it to Dallas Clark on 3rd down. I mean, Peyton's going to win a Super Bowl that way. Anywho, I guess that's enough draft talk because,
you got the baseball.
It's the baseball.
It is going now. And I will say, I talked about the Braves being 0-7.
Mm-hmm.
And now they have been 12-5 since then. So they've heated up a little bit, but the injury bug is still killing them.
No.
Strider comes back. He has to get shelved again pretty soon, like after one outing in the majors. They don't have Acuna. We got a suspension for PEDs. That doesn't help anything. So
I don't understand why that's still happening today.
Like they're going to test you.
That's my point. I'm like, how are you this stupid? Like, how?
I don't know.
Okay. They're going to test you.
Yeah.
It's like John Jones in the UFC. He failed multiple cocaine drug tests. They're going to test you. You are arguably the greatest fighter in the world. Nobody can touch you. But when they do a post-test and you piss hot for coke, guess what?
You're going to get tested
that stuff
again.
I could probably see a little bit more because there's an addiction factor there. But PEDs, I don't think there's,
no.
I'll make this argument, and you've all heard me make this argument, but we'll do it again just because this is episode 101 and we're talking the baseball. You can say till you're blue in the face, Barry Bonds wouldn't have broke the home run record without the steroids. And I will counter, he still had to see and hit the ball, regardless of how much steroids he was using.
There were a lot of people doing steroids. They were not doing what he did.
No.
Correct.
No.
There you go.
And Barry Bonds,
just ask Jose Canseco. He's the one that led them all to.
Barry Bonds, other than King Griffey Jr. King Griffey Jr. had the prettiest swing you'll ever see in baseball. Barry Bonds was number 2. But the other thing was, and people forget this, how many intentional walks did Bonds take the last 3 to 5 years of his career? Over and over.
They would walk in a run to keep him from hitting a grand slam.
Yep.
If you all remember, they used to have to pitch the 4 pitches.
Yeah.
Now they just do the 4 fingers.
They just motion them over.
There you go.
I remember pitching when I was 10 years old or something. And I was mad at my catcher 'Cause I guess because the rule is the catcher's got to be behind the plate. Like we couldn't do the old
Yep.
this thing, stand up thing. So he had to be squatted, and I would have to throw a pitch, and he would jump out after it. I kept telling him, line up on the outside corner at least. My God. And I don't know if the ump is telling him not to, but I threw one, and somebody like threw the bat out there and hit it into left field. I was like, son of a bitch.
Oh God. How did I not know you were a pitcher, Terry?
I was a lot of things until I was about 12 years old. Here's how I describe my baseball career. I threw 70 when I was 12 years old,
Okay.
and I threw about 75 when I was 17 years old.
Okay. All right.
So
Gotcha.
that tells you where that went.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never threw 70 miles an hour, but I had a hell of an arm. So I played the
Yeah.
outfield.
I probably threw a lot faster across the infield. I could not find that same velocity on the mound for
Yeah.
some reason.
I
don't
played
know.
softball for years, but I was catcher and second base because nope. Mm-mm.
Yeah,
I
I played
played
third
catcher
because,
and right field usually.
as one of my coaches said, those big butt, short arm guys, you usually put them on the corners.
Yeah. Yeah. So the baseball, Terry, I expect you all to be apologizing to Spencer Schwellenbach when he becomes the ace down in Atlanta.
Hey, man, I predicted a Cy Young this year. What are you talking about?
Also in Nebraska. No, that's going to Max Fried. We'll get there in a minute.
No,
Also
that's in the other league. We're in different leagues. They both go to Cy Young.
Well, then go Spencer because he
Yeah.
represents the Big Red. But how in the hell are the Mets leading the East? Stupid
Oh.
Mets.
The Mets.
Stupid.
See,
Mets.
I don't know if I'm pissed off because the Mets are leading or if I'm kind of happy that it's not the Phillies. I just have no clue at this point. I don't. It's like I'm used to the weird stuff being the Marlins popping up out of nowhere once in a while.
Well, the good news is it's only a sixth of the season officially started today. The bad news is Juan Soto still sucks for all you Mets fans. So he is not a defensive player. Terry and Allison will tell you I send them every video of him botching a play in right field to say thank God for the New York Mets. Because if the Yankees had actually put up $765 million to keep that clown, I might be upset. But what they bought was a designated hitter, no running ability, no skills. He can hit the ball, but he's not even hitting the ball. Volpe has as many home runs as Soto does, and that's sad. The team, though, you put on here, Terry, that's very interesting in the NL is the Cubs. The Cubs are a very good baseball team, and every team they've played's been over 500. I don't know if you knew that or not, but
Well, the thing about the Cubs is Cubs are going to transition pretty quickly from everybody loves the Cubs to everybody hates the Cubs if they continue to be good. That's what happened with the Red Sox. Everybody felt bad for the Red Sox for a long time. Then they won a couple of World Series, and everybody's like, the fucking Red Sox.
Exactly.
That's the same thing's going to happen with the Cubs.
Well, and then, of course, you have the West on here, and the Giants are up front, but you have the Giants, the Padres, and the Dodgers in the same division. Oh, and the Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
Somebody out of that division, when it gets to playoff time, is going to get left out in the cold. And this is genuinely separation by inches. These guys are so good, all four teams. Now, the Diamondbacks, I would say, is number 4. But when you put the Giants, George says, screw the Red Sox.
That's right.
That would be
when you put the Giants, the Dodgers, and the Padres all in the same division. And it's crazy. I don't know. I don't know. The Dodgers haven't found their mojo yet, which means everybody buckle up because it's only April. And when they find their mojo, it's going to be bad for everybody involved.
That is correct.
The long-haired pitcher for the Dodgers only pitched 1 inning today. Tyler Glasnow only pitched 1 inning today because he left with muscle soreness in his shoulder. So he's already hurt. Blake Snell is on the IL. So, Rocky's starting to find the zone again like I predicted a couple weeks ago. Shohei's having a good time. But Yamamoto .7 ERA. Leads baseball.
I cannot.
Yoshi Yamamoto.
Good.
So
That's just insane. Yeah, I had to correct my math for the comment. I said I realized the Braves are 12-14, and I somehow said they were 12-5 after starting 0-7. That doesn't really.
I mean, it's wishful thinking. I could try.
they're not quite 500, folks, in a division that somehow the freaking Mets are leading. The
Well, I
Mets.
will say that Schwellenbach has a 2.87 ERA, but he's 1-2. That should tell you something. They're not hitting much.
Wow.
No,
Wow.
and-
Really?
Yeah, Schwellenbach's a really good pitcher too. So they're
Yeah.
he's going 6-7, and they're not getting the job done. And without Acuna, changes the entire dynamic of the baseball team.
I was totally going to use that as a segue to talk about closers, but I'm going to hold off.
Terry froze.
Yeah.
Terry's frozen.
Terry
Yeah,
frozen.
it's okay. Terry
Let's
will be
talk about
back.
the Yankees.
Terry will be back in a second, folks. While me and Allison talk about God's team, the New York Yankees. They really are God's team these
There he
days.
is.
17. There's Terry. You froze. Terry, welcome back. We're here to talk
And the
about God's
slides
team.
did not even go away, so I must not have been gone too bad.
No, we're here to talk about God's team. That's the New York Yankees. For those of you playing along at home, they are now 17-11. They lead the AL by 2.5 games over everyone's least favorite baseball team, the Boston Red Sox. Big change announced today. Old Booney's decided he wants to be a manager after this season. So instead of being fired, he decided he's going to pull Devin Williams out of the closer role and put the real closer, Luke Weaver, there. In today's second half of the doubleheader, Luke Weaver got 3 outs in 10 pitches. That, ladies and gentlemen, is called closing. Give that man some coffee. You know what is not closing? Having a 4-run lead and throwing 36 pitches and blowing said lead. That is not closing.
No.
What that is Devin Williams pitching these days. So I've decided, since coffee is for closers, what Devin Williams clearly drinks is some sort of iced chai tea with extra caramel, and he doesn't want real sugar in it, so give him a couple of fucking Splendas, and make sure that you put the frappe with the half latte, whatever bullshit on it, because that son of a bitch ain't drinking coffee. The coffee is for closers, and I don't know what Devin Williams is doing. I know his wife just had a baby, but they need to figure this shit out. And that's why he's moving to inning 6 and 7 or 7 and 8. He does not deserve the closing role. On the other hand, as for the pitching, Max Fried, 5-0.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Terry.
3 7+ innings, sir. 3 games, 7+ innings. That is how you keep the bullpen fresh. So
We've got a long history of handing guys over to you guys.
Yeah, well,
we like to get the best out of them before they show up. I don't think that happened with Fried. It's not like an Andrew Jones kind of thing.
No, the thing is with Fried though is he's got the offensive power behind him. The Yankees aren't gelling yet either. Yes, they're 17-11. Yes, they're winning, whatever. But Stanton is coming back. The question that becomes what Boone has to figure out as the manager, and this is going to say what he will do as the manager. Fried is filthy. That's right, George. Absolutely. His first inning today was suspect, though. If you watch that game, I was about to break things. Anyway, he's our only hope. It's like he's down to Luke Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're our only hope at this point because Hill has started his rehab. He's on the 60-day IL list. Okay. Giancarlo Stanton is live batting practice now. But you have Ben Rice, who's batting over 300, playing first base and DH. Yeah. You have Aaron Judge, who's leading the league at 412 with 8 home runs, 28 RBIs, and a 1.22 OPS, which is absolute insanity.
It's so nice.
But by the way, Terry, just for your benefit, Yankees fans are bitching because he's not hitting the ball enough, hitting enough home runs, but he's got a .413 batting average. So you're aware.
I mean, if you haven't met Yankees fans,
it is 2025.
Yeah, we're good
so
at complaining.
.413 batting average, and they're complaining he's not hitting the long ball.
Well, that's okay. That's like I said, like Frank is the example, not your Frank, Frank the Tank from Barstool is the example of Mets fans to me where
Yeah.
the Mets are dominating the NL East and this guy's complaining about everything.
Well, he should complain about Juan Soto because the guy still can't play defense. He can't run the
Right.
bases. He's not a threat other than the long ball, and he's going to be good for 40 home runs and 100 RBIs, and that's what he's going to be good for. He's also in his own head trying to prove himself because he's reaching for pitches that in the Bronx he never reached for. He's not making those pitchers pitch to him yet, and until he does, you're not going to see Juan Soto that you saw last year. You're not going to see the Juan Soto that ended Clase's run in Cleveland and put one out of the park. You're going to see Juan Soto that strikes out chasing 1 2 foot off the plate, and it isn't going to work.
It's similar to when guys are in a free agent year, last year of their contract, and they really try to push it to get more money, and they don't do very well. Well, he's in the first year of a huge contract, and he thinks he has to be the guy, and he's putting pressure on himself to do that, and he doesn't have the same people surrounding him that he had with the Yankees.
Well, and you talk about a big deal. Paul Goldschmidt's over 350. Aaron Judge is 412. Ben Rice is over 300. Hell, Volpe's batting 220, which doesn't sound great. He's a good defender. He's hitting home runs. Jazz is at 185, and you're like, ew, gross. But Cabrera is at 250. Jason Dominguez is over 250. The center fielder, Trent Grisham, is over 250. He hit a home run today.
He hit one today, yeah.
Yeah. So the Yankees have it if they can put it all together. The problem Boone's going to have is who does he use and how does he use them? Because the presumptive thing is you paid $40 million a year for Giancarlo Stanton to be your designated hitter. He better be your designated hitter. But you also brought in Paul Goldschmidt to be your first baseman, and that's what Ben Rice plays. He can also play catcher, but you brought in J.C. Scarra to do that, who hit a home run today. So he's got a lot of things he needs to figure out before the Yankees do anything else. But number one in the AL and led by probably the best player in baseball and the best pitcher in baseball right now. So
you mean the torpedo bats didn't make you guys go 162-0? From the response to them, I would have thought that was what was going to happen.
No, they definitely didn't. And the thing is about the torpedo bats is if you've noticed the way they're being hit because of the new designs, and I watch a lot of baseball, obviously. I have the MLB app in case nobody knows.
Damn it, you beat me to it.
In a couple weeks. The torpedo bats break, though, a lot easier at the handle because of the way that they're designed. Because you've moved the wood up the bat. So Jazz has broken a lot more bats. Volpe's broken a lot more bats. Ask me how many bats I've seen Judge break. Not that many, He don't need it. And by the way, last week in Tampa, them bitches, for all of our friends that like Tampa, we know some people. Anyway, the Judge hit one way out of the park over the trees, and they called it foul. And Booney got himself thrown out for the first time this year. So that was number one. He was arguing with them, and he was
one of those in high school. I mean, blasted it over the road, and I'm trotting around second, and they call me back to the plate, and I struck out. That's how that.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So before Judge could say a word, Boone stepped out, and apparently he moved too fast for the umpire's taste, and they threw his ass out of the game.
Oh.
So he didn't even get to say anything, and then he gave him an earful. He let him hold.
Oh, yeah.
Because the same thing happened to Judge. He hits that home run, and on every video, it's a home run, except by the third baseman. The third base umpire said it was foul. Anyway, he hits then he strikes out because after the hit, he strikes out, and Boone was not having that nonsense, Terry. Not having it. But what we are having, because we're talking about the best batter in baseball, best player, and currently the best pitcher. It's that time for the game we're going to play today. I'm putting you both on the spot.
Okay.
You are an Atlanta Brave or New York Yankee.
Mm-hmm.
What is your walk-up song?
Oh, goodness.
So
wow.
I have two. because one is my always, which is "You Got the Right Stuff" by New Kids on the Block, but the other is my current favorite, which would be "Pink Pony Club."
Imagine that. She gonna
I know you're
rack
shocked.
or Chaperone, whatever her name is, Pink Pony Club.
Yep.
I am completely shocked.
I know. Neither
Terry's
one of them.
over there Googling. I can see him looking
No,
on his phone.
no. I will let you know what I'm doing.
What's yours, Andrew? Do you have one?
Yeah, you go, and then I'll get this typed out.
Oh, the walk-up song
Yeah.
is "I Love It" because it says "I don't care."
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
I
is
love
true.
it. I
That's
kind of
very
pop. That is my walk-up song.
That is definitely your song. All right, Terry.
Okay. So, fresh from Chat GPT, "Back in Black" is my walk-up
Oh.
song.
All
All
right.
right. Second question. Because I think Dreamweaver is a stupid fucking song for a closer.
Oh, God.
Even though his last name is Weaver. What's your song you're walking out in the ninth inning with the game on the line and you're the closer? And it can't be Inner Sandman, Allison.
I
Because
mean,
Mariano Rivera has
Oh.
that one.
I mean, can we do "Closer" by 9 Inch Nails?
You can do Closer by 9 Inch Nails. That's rough, though.
That's rough, but I mean,
Rough.
sends the right message, you know?
Yeah, I like Hurt by Johnny Cash.
Oh, that's good.
Or, well, Sting does it, but Seek and Destroy by Metallica works.
Go ahead, Terry.
I got one, and it's also by Johnny Cash. I will say that Chat GPT first suggested Inner Sandman, so I'll skip that. How about this one? "God's Gonna Cut You Down" by Johnny Cash.
That's good. That's good. I would take that. That's very
Fantastic.
good.
That's good. See, that's what I'm talking about. This is the kind of fun we're going to have this year, talking about
like
the
it.
baseball.
I like
So,
it.
yeah, Dreamweaver needs to change his music because he is
Yeah.
the closer for the New York Yankees.
Yeah,
And
I
that's a
can't imagine
stupid
that
act.
I would have ever used that.
Nah.
I just don't.
I
see it.
mean, my favorite is what was it? The Timmy trombone for the Mets closer?
Oh, the trumpet.
The trumpet, Timmy trumpet, whatever.
It wasn't.
Trumpet. I got to look that up.
Oh, you don't know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, they do the battle. They do the battle call for the guy, and
It's so
it is
good.
It is really good, except it's the
so
Mets,
good.
so they're
It's the
stupid.
Mets.
Anyway,
All right.
I forget his name too.
So
But-
let's hear about some of. I mean, I know we talked about the draft, but how about your college teams? How are they doing?
Yeah, Terry, how
Well-
was the Auburn spring game? Nebraska didn't have one.
Well, I
Which
didn't
is-
really watch it. You know, it's not a spring game like it used to be. They've changed it to offense versus defense and all that. But you know, and I kind of said this last time. Everybody was awesome. That's the result of it. You know, it's like every single player is going to be a superstar. That's what the results of the spring game are. But you know, Jackson Arnold did not play because he had some kind of slight injury, not like nothing that's going to be a big problem. He just didn't get to play. But
Francisco Diaz is the name. Thank you, George.
No, it's Edwin Diaz.
Or
isn't it?
Edwin Diaz. Edwin Diaz.
yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. But
yeah,
yes, he
so,
pulled trouble. Anyway.
but yeah, so the defense looks good as far as I know from the reports I'm getting. Pretty good receiver core. We're just hoping that we have a quarterback that can get it to them this time.
And on the
In the end zone. In the end zone. 'Cause,
In the end zone, not to the other team.
was really good at moving the ball to about the 25-yard line.
Yeah, and they
And
can't
once
get
in a
the goal
while
line.
getting a big play. But that in the red zone, they would throw an interception or fumble or not score or miss a field goal. We got to get that crap out of the way. So that's the story of this season.
So
On to you, sir.
Nebraska, typically a top 5 spring game, most watched, most attended, all of that good stuff. Didn't happen this year. We're canceling it. And we're canceling it because of tampering. So what they did was the quote Husker games. Now this was cool for the fans that went there. They could buy hats and they could buy shirts and jerseys and have cleats
It's
designed.
like a hot dog eating contest like Ole Miss did?
There was an eating it was wings. It wasn't hot dogs, but
Okay.
legitimately there were wings. Taking a page out of Lane Kiffin's book. The former volleyball coach John Cook beat all of the players in a steer roping contest. I swear to
Ooh.
God, I'm not
Nice.
making this up.
That's
Hold
great.
on. They did flag football.
Ooh.
And the only thing I saw
Flag
that even
football.
remotely interested me from this Husker Games thing was Dylan Raiola throwing the football at a moving target and hitting the bullseye 10 consecutive times. That, and then throwing a 40-yard pass on a dime, nothing but net into a basketball hoop.
Wow.
That
Good
is what interested me. All the other crap, you're eating hot wings and whatever, no, not interested. That is not
Right.
the spring game. That is not the red and white game. That is not 80,000 people in a stadium to watch a football practice. Also, Terry, it wasn't in the notes, but it looks like they may not do the 105 roster change. That's been
Oh,
stopped.
really?
Yes.
Yeah, so there's guys I've heard there's guys that went into the portal to prepare if this happens, and they don't know if
Correct.
it's going to happen, but there are guys sitting in the portal just in case.
100% correct.
So what happens if the teams don't get reduced and they're in the portal?
Then they just come back to the team
Okay.
possibly, or if they work out something with somebody else, maybe they leave. But one of the things that Hugh Freeze was talking about, he likes to have 4 quarterbacks, but if you start reducing it down, you start thinking about maybe having 3 quarterbacks.
Right.
And that
Makes
kind
sense.
of thing. And all of a sudden, you get an injury or two, and you are screwed. And you're going
Yeah.
to be like, which of my wide receivers played quarterback in high school?
It's going to be like, which can my third baseman pitch this inning? We've
Correct.
all been there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Jose
Yep.
Canseco tearing his shoulder up.
And it's a problem because they've all been starting to cut these people, meaning they're telling them,
Oh.
you can come to the school, but you're not going to be a student athlete next year. We're not
Oh,
putting you NIL money. We're not doing any of that.
Wow. Okay.
To now, the court is saying, well, they've overstepped and we don't think they can do it this way legally. So it's all becoming very. Terry said this a year ago. This is going to become all legal and all in the court system. My thought would be this, and it would suck. It's obviously going to suck the first time you do it. Just get to 105 and move on
Yeah.
because it's coming.
Because
One
everybody
way-
will have the same rules. I mean,
Yeah.
and it probably helps the smaller programs that can't grab a bulk of guys and bring them in.
Right.
And that's
Yeah,
what
just
they're
get to the 100. But and my point is to say to move on. You know it's coming. Don't fight City Hall. Just let's pare the rosters down and let's get ready to play football.
Yeah.
Because all this legal bullshit back and forth. It's the same with Clemson and Florida State trying to leave the ACC and all this other crap. It's not productive in any way.
And I'm okay with something once in a while going to the courts because I think the NCAA needs that to happen sometimes because they've run the thing just in a stupid way for decades, and it's time for them to adjust and somebody to tell them to adjust. What I don't want is senators getting involved,
Oh, God.
especially Tommy Tuberville. I've heard news that Tommy is going to run for the governor of Alabama, and I would find it very interesting, and I've thought this for a very long time. It would be very interesting if Tommy Tuberville were running as a Republican candidate and Nick Saban ran as a Democratic candidate. What would the people of Alabama do in that case? Their heads would explode.
Roll Tide. That's what they would do.
It's a very red state, Andrew.
That happened to Tom Osborne in after he was retired from being the head football coach. He became the representative for the 3rd District of Nebraska. He won 98.5% of the vote, and he was a registered Republican. So Democrats, Republicans, this is the man that walked on water in Nebraska.
Right.
So as far as everybody else was concerned, he can be in the government. We don't care. So what we do care about, because we are wrestling fans, is
Yes.
what I would like to refer to as that disaster of the flagship pay-per-view that sets the tone for an entire year, and that would be WWE presenting Wrestlemania.
Yeah.
Oh, Terry's got graphics.
Oh, he's got
And this
I
graphics.
do. I have some graphics.
I'm so glad.
This is in the city that Allison loves and adores so much. that she'll go in July, even
Correct.
though it's in the desert, because
Correct.
as I've heard multiple times,
It's a
they have
dry
air
heat.
conditioning there, and it's a dry heat.
Yeah, it was burning my legs.
Yeah.
That dry heat was burning me up. I'll tell you that much. Dry
Look,
heat or
They
not.
they have air conditioning there.
You
Not
guys
while I'm
know
out
me.
waiting on an Uber.
You guys know me, okay? Vegas is my number one love it to death place. But when do I not love Vegas? When it is overcrowded and stupid expensive for no reason. That's what this was. I opted out this year. I said the ticket. So you guys know I went to WrestleMania last year, right? So I was
Yeah.
like, okay, gonna do it again. The tickets were over $1,000 more than what I would have paid than what I paid last year. $1,000.
My streak of not going to a WWE pay-per-view has been extended by one.
Mine as well. I think the last WWE pay-per-view I went to was in 2003. So it's been that
Well, wait,
long.
Terry, are you at 0?
I'm at 0.
Oh, we'll change that. We'll
We'll
that.
change that. I just
The
don't
problem
know. I mean,
is
Nashville's pretty close, right?
Yeah.
the one we want to go to in Nashville, they also have one in New Orleans coming up, but the one we want to go
New
to in
Orleans.
Nashville,
But New Orleans is cold.
you guys know they call it Nash Vegas. I mean, it's going to be just as expensive as
Yes.
Las
Oh
Vegas.
man, it's going to be crowded.
Yes.
Crowded on what is the name of the road there?
In
Broadway. Good Lord.
Broadway. Yeah,
Broadway.
yeah, for real.
Yeah.
So this WrestleMania, to Allison's point, did not sell out. They announced a sellout, but they did not sell out. And I personally think one of the reasons is that TKO WWE have priced themselves out of the market when you're talking about professional wrestling fans. Now, WrestleMania is a destination, so they're always going to have the draw. They're always going to get real close. But for you to not legitimately sell out your venue, not one night, but two, and this is your big show. This is the show. And you're going to tell me you couldn't have discounted the tickets a little bit or something to that effect? Because you know they made money hand over fist, and good for them. I'm never going to criticize somebody for making money. But if you have hardcore wrestling fans that want to go to WrestleMania, this is unaffordable in many ways. Unaffordable.
And the worst part is if you buy the cheapest ticket, okay, because say you can afford that and you go, you don't see anything. Like,
Oh, you're
Don't-
just buying a ticket to be in the building.
Correct.
At that point. Yeah.
there is no joy that I could find from sitting in the nosebleeds watching a video monitor, which is also small. Like, I'll stay home and watch on my big screen.
Yeah,
Thank you
you
very
got
much.
binoculars to
Yeah,
look
exactly.
at the jumbotron.
Yes,
Correct.
like that made no sense to me, but it is what it is.
No, and we've all paid up for tickets. I mean, the SEC championship game, the last one East-West, was $750 a piece. Amazing tickets behind the end zone
Yep.
at the biggest game of the year up to
Yeah.
that point.
Right.
Yep.
Did not have to pay the kind of money that they're talking about. WrestleMania, they were saying it's $1,000 door entry
Yes.
to get in.
Yep.
To the nosebleed.
Yep.
Right.
No thanks. No thanks. We're gonna have to sell a lot more cars if we're gonna do all that. Because we're gonna be eating along the way, as you all know. Anywho, WrestleMania opens night one with
Yes.
Yeet, and Gunther. Yeet and Gunther. Look at Terry. He had the graphic locked.
I
and
got some of
loaded.
them. Some of
That's all
them.
right. These are good.
What's going to be the question is, do I remember which one that I have a graphic for? I don't know. We'll see.
It's all good.
But yeah, this match was what it was, and it was what was expected from my
Yes.
point of view. Do you all think anything else?
No, it was a good match.
It was
Right
good.
person won. It was about time.
It
About
was
the
about
right
time.
time.
And that's what I was going to say. I think
Yeah.
Uso has got the crowd. I mean,
Correct.
Jay, the crowd is behind him, even to the point when we talk about after WrestleMania, the next night or Monday night on Raw,
Mm-hmm.
they just had a segment of everybody cheering him. And that
Yep.
was all nothing but that. And that's who Jay Uso is. They wanted to bring that out after he won the title.
And waiting for Sami Zayn to turn on him. But,
Well,
you
of
know,
course.
because he
Well,
stood
and-
behind him, you know.
Yeah,
and
both of them were behind him. I thought that they were going to beat him down, but it ended up just being a celebration.
Yep. And they could have gone the other way, but they did a lot of that already.
Correct.
But I think Jay, obviously, like you said, Terry, he has the crowd. He's going to sell the merch. He's, and to me, he's a sizzle. This is a flash in the
Absolutely.
pan. He's not going to be a long-term champion. This isn't a long-term answer, but this is a payoff to him being organically chosen by the audience, and they didn't fumble it the way they did Bryan Danielson years ago.
Mm-hmm.
This one they actually got right. The difference was Bryan Danielson had 2 very good matches, not one. I also did not like Gunther tapping out so quickly.
So the quickly, fine, but the tapping out, I kind of get. That's Gunther's thing. So to submit
Yeah,
him
but he
with
tapped out so fast that, he
Uh,
didn't even fight it much. Not a fan.
Yeah, I think that's probably more on him and his. I mean, how many times has he been tapped out? He may
But
not
I
have
Never.
mean,
any
with
experience with
Gunther
it.
though, if he's not a big tough guy that can take it, what is he? Because he doesn't.
Right.
Right.
He
Good
doesn't
point.
fly around at all.
Right.
Mm,
You are attacking the one thing that he has.
That's a
right.
good point. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, all right. It happens.
We can blow through some of this. Let's see. New Day versus the War Raiders for the tag team title. Lord
Yep.
have mercy.
No graphic on that one.
The
That's
New
all right.
Day
There
needed
doesn't
to
need to be
win.
one.
They just needed to win, in my opinion, because they hadn't done anything with their heel turn. I mean, they really did a
Right.
nice job turning on Big E, but after that, it's just kind of been fizzled out,
They're like, look at us, we're jerks. Woo. That's legit all. I'll be honest, that's all
Yeah.
I'm getting from them right now. There is nothing else other than
Yeah.
you should hate us, we're heels.
It's like if John Cena can go heel, so can we.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And the thing was, I disagreed with them making the New Day heels from day one because for a decade, and people are like, oh, their act is stale. Is it? Is it really though? Because they found who they were and they've been merch sellers and all the other stuff, and they're funny and they're part of the entertainment package.
They are kind of like R-Truth. Not quite to that level, but they are a tag team that's similar to R-Truth. R-Truth don't get old.
No.
And he is.
It never gets old. It never gets old seeing him people try to breaking on him. But
oh, it's so good.
Jade Cargill defeated Naomi, the human caution sign.
Again.
Oh, he got a graphic.
Yeah, I got a graphic for that one. That probably doesn't deserve one either, because who really thought Naomi had a chance here?
Yeah, no, but I will say this. Her caution gear is really good. Like that. You don't like it? I think it's really good.
What I don't like even more is when she runs into what I don't like even more is when she ran into Nia Jax on SmackDown and actually said, proceed with caution.
Oh, yeah. All right. Okay, fair. That was bad. All right, fair.
That's good.
But yeah, this match was,
and the punches on Jade were horrific. They were not good. Not good at all. Naomi is not a good professional wrestler. She's not even a good heel. Get Jade out of this as quickly as possible. Although Bianca broke 2 fingers, it looks like, so that's part of the problem here. So,
well, I mean, Naomi's kind of a filler at this point, but normally she's a filler in a multi-woman match, a tag team, or a some special pay-per-view kind of match, gimmick match kind of deal, or just like a 4-way thing. But one-on-one, you don't normally see her.
That totally explains why I felt that this match was incomplete. I kept waiting for somebody to come in.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, don't take this the wrong way, but Naomi can't hold this on her own. And she can't.
Right.
So I kept waiting. Nothing happened. And I was like, all right, well, all right. It was a nothing match for me, honestly. So
right.
All right, what's next?
Should be Jacob Fatu and LA Knight.
Oh, this was good. I actually enjoyed this match a lot.
This went as it should have. I mean, you gotta, LA Knight. People like him.
Absolutely.
They gave him a chance to be champion, and but Jacob Fatu is it.
He's on fire
so
right
this
now.
was his chance. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that it's dollar signs with Jacob Fatu, and I think it's a world championship sooner rather than later. The The man just oozes charisma. He is somebody. Even if you don't know who he is, you know that is somebody right there.
That's
And I mean, the United States title, I guess, is a nice stepping stone. At least that's how it used to be. But there are much bigger and better things on the horizon for Jacob Fatu than LA Knight. And they teased a Drew McIntyre
yeah.
series on SmackDown. I would be very interested to see how they do that. But clearly, they know Jacob is the babyface in that sequence because the fans are going to get right behind him. Even though they love Drew, they're going to get right behind Jacob Fatu because 285 people, 285-pound people don't move that way.
No.
Right.
But my dad brings up a good point here. He shut Solo up in their segment. And I was thinking, well, where is that leading? Is there going to be a change in leadership?
I think
What's the future for Solo at that point?
Right.
Well,
exactly.
I don't think they know. I think it was part of some more bad booking done that we'll get to when we talk about The Rock.
Okay.
The Rock. Dwayne. I'm not going to refer to him as The Rock anymore because he is definitely Dwayne. But anyway. Should have known. He went to Miami, Terry. You know,
Lord.
He did.
Can't trust those people. El Grande Americano defeated Rey Fenix, not Rey Mysterio, because the night before Rey Mysterio hurt himself.
And that's why I don't have a graphic, because the graphic had Rey Mysterio.
That's what they called a lower leg injury, I believe.
Was he really hurt?
Yes.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they had to help him out of the ring during the main event of SmackDown.
No, that sucks.
Or
And
after
I'll
the
say
main event.
my really bad joke again. There was no sign of El Grande Americano's tag team partner, Venti Macchiato.
Venti Macchiato. See, El Grande Americano is my coffee order.
That's really good.
But that's about as far as that
I'm
goes.
going to keep using it, yeah.
That's good. I like it.
It's such a dad joke. It's such a dad joke.
That's why I like it.
Dad. But yeah, it's not good. It's just
I agree. The only reason I think that match was so important was because it was the introduction of the fact that WWE bought AAA, which personally I love AAA. If you've watched their Triple Mania, I think it's called, or phenomenal, phenomenal wrestling. So I'm really excited. I know they've got a joint pay-per-view coming up, so I'm excited to watch that one. I will say, who was it? Vikingo was introduced. He's really good. So I
need to watch more of that, but I don't even watch regular shows for WWE.
Well, AAA is like WCW 2000 right now because CMLL is just crushing it. Not to mention, both American companies have raided quite a bit of their talent prior, to this purchase. But it should be fine. There are people freaking out because they're gonna, WWE is gonna change. This person in group chat I'm in, they're gonna change AAA and blah blah blah. And this is WWE TKO wanting world domination. Well, no shit. It's kind of their thing. Like they already have a deal in Saudi. They've got the deals in England and France already. Japan will probably be next, and now you've got Australia. So yeah. And by the way, TKO, once again, let me say it out loud, is a larger billion-dollar company that owns a smaller billion-dollar company in WWE that are both nationally or not transnational. They are global, both of them. So anyway, the AAA thing was fine. Of course, El Grande Americano won. That's because he's from the Gulf of America. So,
I swear to God. Such a jerk.
And that's our show tonight, guys.
Yeah. And I'm done. No, I'm just kidding.
And we're done. That's a hot button issue for Allison. Apparently, just blatantly renaming something is not acceptable.
I keep saying I'm just gonna rename shit and places and people, and I'm just gonna give you a new name, and I'm just gonna say, look, if somebody else can do it, I can do it. That's it.
So good. What's
Oh.
up next?
Let's see. The next match was Tiffy versus Charlotte.
Woo!
Yeah. I have no comment.
And I think, I
can't-
mean, I think the winner is who I thought the winner was going to be. But other than that, I mean, I think there was some nastiness along the way. I don't know
Mm-mm.
what to say about it other than that.
I rolled in the predictions.
Yes, you
With
Yeah.
the
did.
exception of overthinking the main event of night one, I rolled in the predictions on this show. Tiffy time here beating Charlotte does absolutely nothing for Tiffy time because Charlotte has no cachet, no standing, no. It doesn't matter. You beat a resentful 39-year-old wrestler who didn't want to hand her spot over to you, and that's exactly what fans saw happen.
Correct. Correct.
And
Absolutely.
I mean, Charlotte accused of sandbagging Tiffy in this match. Very physical between the two of them.
Mhm.
Went live a little bit, it looked like. But Charlotte Flair needs to understand that her job now as a 39-year-old wrestler is to make the next generation of talent. It isn't to continue to suffocate him and be Hulk Hogan. That doesn't work for me, brother. Is to move on. But Charlotte Flair is also her father's daughter, so it would not shock me that if she's Ric Flair with a vagina. So there you go. Where she thinks way too much of herself, thinks she's way too important, and this match could have been a lot better had they not ruined the build. And then, I mean, I will be honest, the match was better than I thought it was going to be, based on the way that they put this thing together. Also, I think they had way too much time between Mania and Royal Rumble. But the reason for that is they went from February 1st to April 20th. It just seems like a really long time before you have a pay-per-view.
Yeah, this was a
Yep.
late WrestleMania. Yeah.
Yeah, April 19th and April 20th. And I guess they adjusted the Rumble later, but still, it just seems like it's a lot longer than it has been in
Right.
years past.
Yeah.
Maybe not, but not maybe if you counted the days it wasn't, but it just seems that way. Anywho, I'm glad the match is over, and I hope we never see it again. Nia Jax attacks Tiffany Stratton on SmackDown
Yep.
after her match with Jade, so pretty clear that we're getting Tiffy and Nia now.
Again.
Yes.
So, do
Again.
you think that the women's division is building depth in the WWE right now? Because there's some names that are starting up.
We haven't got to the Monday segment, but my
so-
answer would be yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys caught it, but the NXT, I don't remember what the name of it, the pay-per-view was. Stand and Deliver, maybe?
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Did you guys watch that at all?
I did not.
Okay,
Mhm.
I did. It was really good. And if you ask me, the best women's talent in WWE right now is in NXT. They have got some women who are going to be
Just
coming
in
up.
general, or are you thinking, are there a name or two in your head?
No, I would say in general, there were a number of women that I watched wrestle that I was like, holy crap, this is good.
Yeah,
And I was shocked because I'll be honest, I don't watch NXT.
right. Me
Um,
neither.
And I'm watching all these women and I'm like, this is the next generation. This is phenomenal.
Right.
Like, hopefully, and of course, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, hopefully, creative doesn't screw them up. But
Yeah, I think they're building depth. What they need
Correct.
is those couple of ladies to really step up and
Yep.
be the one to step into those roles.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
like,
yeah, and
because we have Roxanne and who's the Alba Fire and who's the one that was just the champ, Lyra. Like, they're
Julia.
all, yeah, they're great.
Right.
Really good.
Yeah, you have Roxanne, Julia, and
Julia,
Stephanie
that's the other one.
Vacquier all making an
Oh,
appearance with Theo
Stephanie,
on
yeah.
Monday. So
Stephanie
Yeah, that was good.
phenomenal.
that's my point. Is I
Yes.
think if you move the mainstay women out of the picture for now,
Mhm.
move Rhea out of the picture, move Charlotte out of the picture, move Becky out of the picture, and you have Io wrestle
yeah.
those three women. Just have her wrestle. There's your next sequence of women's title matches: Stephanie Valkyrie, Julia, and Roxanne Perez.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
let the four of them cook. Like legitimately let them show what wrestling, because up until WrestleMania, I'd even said it, talking to Medusa on her podcast, AEW women was far more interesting than what we were seeing in the WWE.
Correct.
Right.
But we're going to get to what happens when you make it to the WWE and you open night 2 of WrestleMania in just a second.
But before that, we got
Before
one
that,
more
yeah.
match.
Before that,
on
you
night
better
one.
close night 1.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
I mean, there's only one thing to talk about.
I
with this
hate
match.
being right all the time.
This is
So-
the thing about this. No matter what the names are, it is the Paul Heyman story.
Correct. Yep. I
Yeah,
mean,
so Paul Heyman, as everybody knows, turns on CM Punk, turns on Roman Reigns. The chair shot where he hands the chair to Seth. Brilliant shot once again by WWE production. To Terry's point, Paul wrote this. Like, nobody has told me Paul wrote the story. But Paul wrote this story. This is Paul Heyman. If anybody's followed his career, you've seen what he did with the Dangerous Alliance. You saw what he did when he became Brock Lesnar's advocate. Then he becomes CM Punk's guy, turns on him for Lesnar, turns on Lesnar for Roman, and now we've turned on Roman for Seth. I guess Roman and Punk for Seth. Wade Keller on his post show floated the idea of Dangerous Alliance 2025.
Ooh.
I absolutely hate it. And here's why.
Why?
Rick Rude, Bobby Eaton, Arn Anderson, Larry Zbyszko, Steve Austin, Medusa, Paul Heyman. You gonna find 7 Hall of Famers to put together in one faction? Granted, you have 2 of them. Rollins is a Hall of Famer, as is Heyman. But are you going to find 4 or 5 others of that caliber and level that gel together, work together? And then to float the idea that Becky Lynch is going to become the first Paul Heyman gal. That was 007. And she was exceptional about her thoughts on it. So that's a whole nother story.
Imagine, yeah.
Oh, she was fired up. Yeah.
Oh,
but
yeah.
But Braun Breaker has been
I
working
like
with him
that.
in the back and needs to be elevated.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
who else are you going to put in that spot? Someone said Miro. Why?
Mm-mm.
Why?
Mm-mm.
What role does Miro play if you're reimagining the Dangerous Alliance from 1992? Who is he in the grand scheme of things? People have said Austin Theory. Who is he in the grand scheme of things?
Maybe I'm picky, but I don't even like right from the beginning. I don't see Seth having the same personality that gels with Paul Heyman as the other guys that he's been with had. I just don't see that from Seth.
He's way, I'm going to say this and you're going to laugh, but he's way too happy. Does that make sense?
That kind of does make sense based on what I'm thinking. I didn't know how to
Right?
pinpoint it, but
I
that
know what
kind of
you're thinking.
explains it. Yeah.
I got you.
It's like
I
he's
got
not
you.
the same kind of
No.
guy that the other ones were.
But with the last couple weeks, you've seen a character shift of where he's gotten far more serious. Now,
yeah.
Yeah.
My prediction would be Seth Rollins takes the title off Jey Uso
Oh.
with Paul Heyman's help.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
And I mean, Braun Breaker is a freak. If they could
Yeah.
channel that energy. But my point to say this whole Dangerous Alliance thing is that with 7 Hall of Famers that all work together, that could all work and could all talk.
Yeah, that's kind of hard to do.
You don't have that in WWE where you have 7, and let's face it, they were mid-card to upper mid-card wrestlers in 1992 that can talk and work. And who's your Sting? CM Punk or Roman Reigns? As sure as shit ain't Roman Reigns. I promise you that.
Right.
You know,
El Grande Americano.
Oh, God. Stop.
from the Gulf of Mexico. Or is it America?
The only correction I have here was Bobby Eaton wasn't talking.
No, but Bobby Eaton also was the best worker of the 7 of them.
Yes, he definitely was. He definitely was.
And he couldn't tell you why he did what he did.
Right.
but it just worked. So you are correct. Yeah. So 6 of the 7 could talk,
Right.
but all 7 could work, and
Yeah.
including Heyman. Heyman can work.
All
Now
right.
Roman got to put his hands on Heyman. That doesn't happen often.
Yeah.
That's a scary thought. You can see the video of him getting hit, and then he's like flying in the air to go down to the mat, and it's like,
Yeah.
woo, that's a big boy to be doing that.
Yeah, but I mean, but when you get your hands on Heyman, it's a big thing.
Right.
Most people, I
Yeah.
mean, Jim Cornette did it, Medusa did it, Lesnar did it, Punk did it, and now Roman has done it. They're the ones that got their hands on Heyman. People don't put their hands on Paul Heyman.
No.
Oh, I guess the New Bloodline did it too in Madison Square Garden. But over 40 years in wrestling, and that's who you can count on your hand.
Yeah.
Who's put their hands on Paul Heyman?
Good
Outside
point.
of ECW, I guess, maybe Tommy Dreamer or RVD. But I mean, people don't touch Paul Heyman.
No.
But this is all his creative, and clearly having Braun in his group is part of it. I just don't think I'd be calling it the Dangerous Alliance 2025.
Well, I guess we'll see. I don't know.
I do like the outcome. I
Okay.
think they needed to do this. I think Punk still looks like an old man, but he carried as much of the match as he could. Seth Rollins was in this match for one reason and one reason only, and that's to make it a wrestling match. Roman's going to do his stuff, and it's going to look fine, but he's only going to do his stuff, and it's only going to look fine.
Right.
We're going to get the power bomb and the drive-by and the spear and the punch. Also, they need to decide to give Roman another finisher, because the way Braun Breaker throws that spear, he don't need to be doing the spear no more. Roman doesn't need to do the spear to anybody. They need to let Breaker have that move. And Jey Uso needs to quit doing the damn spear too.
So what did we give night 1? What grade?
We're talking star numbers here.
No, I'm gonna sure 5 out of 5 stars though, because we're
2.
not playing. We're not playing the 7-star game. I would give it 3.
Yeah, I'm at 2 or 2.5.
I have not thought this through. I may go 3.5, but
Okay.
it would end there. Yeah.
All right.
I just was not impressed with the whole show. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, night 2 was better than night 1 for me. So how do we start out night 2? I don't even remember.
Io Sky,
Yeah.
Bianca, and Rhea.
Okay.
In the match of the weekend.
Yeah, I loved this match.
And I did not have a graphic for that one. I don't know why it
It's
wasn't
okay.
on the big sheet.
This was
yeah.
again. I think this was exceptionally well done, and like I don't know which one of you always says it, but the right person won.
Yeah, with Io Sky, the right person won because they had made her such a non-factor going into the match.
No thrill. Yep.
She definitely was good. But yeah, this match delivered. It was believable. It was fun. It was fast-paced. It was hard-hitting. Bianca did her stuff. Rhea did her stuff. Io got her stuff in. And the over-the-moonsault, good Lord. And as
Rhea
I've said
continues to not be able to beat Io Sky.
Yeah.
Yes.
And as I've said on this show, Io Sky could beat them both up in real life. Like legitimately, she could kill them both. The only one that might give Io a run for her money is Asuka. But anyway, after that, this to me though, I'm gonna say it loud and clear. Match of the weekend and very, very good rebound because the build sucked. This match, the build was horrible. The way they put the title on Io, took it off of Rhea, had Bianca in the middle, then had Io in the middle between Bianca. I mean, it was not a good build whatsoever, in my opinion. But the match, they AEW'd this. The match was far better than the creative. And of course, it was a 3-way, Terry. So they really did AEW this just for you.
I'm good with 3-ways. It's when we start having.
That's what she said.
Yeah. When we start having 6 or 7 or 8 people, which that's when I'm
too
like,
many
what
for
are we
you,
doing?
Terry?
What am I doing? Oh yeah, I can't handle that many. I'll go on record and say that.
I can't.
Because we're all juveniles here.
All right. Yeah.
I got a lot to give, but I can only give it to 1 or 2.
There you
my
go.
God. Oh, so good.
Anyway, so Io
Okay.
Sky defeats
Yep.
Bianca and Rhea for the Women's World Championship.
Drew McIntyre defeats Damian Priest in a street fight, or whatever they called it, a Las
Sin
Vegas.
City Street Fight. And I
Sin
texted
City
you
Street Fight.
guys, sounds like Tony Khan named this.
Yeah, it was horrible. The match was fine. Whatever. I mean,
Agree. Time filler.
I also think it's because of who they were. They got it on WrestleMania instead of the main event of Raw.
And this pisses me off because I genuinely like both of these wrestlers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're telling me you can't find a story or something other than let's run around the stadium and beat each other up?
I think Damian Priest is getting lost in all
yeah.
of the names right now. There's
I have the
nothing that's
solution.
pulling him up.
I have the solution. Bring
What's
back
that?
the Demon. The Demon versus Damian Priest. Hello, it's perfect. Somebody call WWE. I'm ready.
You're ready. Tell Triple H we got ideas. I mean, I booked the entire thing a month ago with the main event. So.
I know.
Oh.
To be fair, Andrew won the prediction game between all of us. Like it was ridiculous. Hold on,
13 out of 14.
I have the results, yeah.
Or 12 out of 14, because I changed the prediction on the first night.
Yeah, you
main
changed
event.
one, yeah.
Because I was all about Seth and Paul leaving together. And then I said no, because everybody else thinks that's what's going to happen. It's going to be a straight up match, and it wasn't. So
yeah, the only ones you didn't get, Andrew, were the main event from night 1, you had Punk, and from night 2, you had, in this match, you had Bianca.
Yep, I had Bianca. But that's because and like I said, I think I overthought it. But anywho, because I actually laid out the whole creative to the damn main event a month ago. But anywho, let's talk about Dirty Dominic Mysterio and his love of chicken tenders, taking the Intercontinental title off of Braun Breaker so he can be a Paul Heyman guy. That's how you elevate people, folks. Penta and not the Demon, Finn Balor.
Still has a million abs, but not the Demon.
Well, he don't eat chicken tendies, apparently. But,
he does.
I mean, did anyone honestly think Dom wasn't leaving this match with the title?
No. Of course not. It was just
I think I picked Braun Breaker. Let me tell you. So I did not even think about any of these until about an hour before it started. And then I let what I want to happen slip in too much, So that's, I ended up.
But yeah, Dirty Dom in the backstage made fun of Scott Steiner for beating his kid or beating his nephew and ran the title in his face. That was or showed the title like this. It was hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
Dominic Mysterio is such a good character, and they're about to make him $1 million babyface. The crowd is gonna turn Dirty Dom.
When he turns face, it is going to be phenomenal.
Yeah.
They're going to team him with his dad again. They're going to team him with his dad again, and it's going to be money. Absolute money.
I like him as a heel. I think he's great. It's like a watered-down version, less boring version of MJF, where he kind of just says what he wants, does what he wants, is who he is, and he doesn't care.
And he's got the hot girlfriend.
Yeah, MJF's issue is I think his problem is we've seen the act, and does he have another layer? With Dominic, now you've just put the Intercontinental title on him to give him something else to be a shitbag about. And like the chicken tendies, like the interviews. Like when he did his chicken tender interview with Chris Van Vliet, that was the funniest thing I had ever seen. But he was not in character. It was genuinely Dominic Mysterio saying, "Oh, I don't eat that. Oh, what I eat is chicken tenders. Who's got the best chicken tenders? Let's do a blind taste test." It was hysterical.
That sounds awesome.
And obviously Penta is Penta, and the Demon is the Demon. So this match was very enjoyable to me. I don't like the multi-man matches most of the time, but again, to me, the right person won, because in this scenario, who is better leaving with the title?
Correct.
And the answer was Dominic Mysterio.
Nobody else had a real story.
No.
Nobody else has a potential follow-on of this group more than Dom. So it was.
Plus, and you can have him wrestle Penta, but you also have the pivot to Finn Balor. and
Absolutely.
it's right there.
Yep.
Do not drop this ball. It is literally right there, especially when you cost him the title at the WrestleMania match. So anyway,
I'm okay with the portions of 4-man matches where there are 2 different one-on-ones going on at the same time.
Okay.
When you start hitting 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people, you got guys laying around, not doing anything for extended periods of time, and that's what I despise.
Yep.
With 4, you're going to get some of that, but sometimes you also get the couple of things going on at once.
Yep. I agree.
say his name and he appears.
Well, he
I
doesn't appear on the
believe
graphic
in
because once
dreams.
again, he was a
But-
surprise.
But again, this match, and I don't care who thinks it sucked, you're wrong.
That was
Okay.
the right guy to pick. I mean, I think it was perfect.
freaking lootly. And none of us guessed him
No.
ahead of time. But
No,
this was perfect.
I'd seen online this was a make good for a show that got canceled in Europe when he was scheduled for the European tour because he's Scottish. I believe it's Scottish. Anyway, yeah, I mean, he's not going to beat Randy Orton at Randy Orton's 20th WrestleMania,
Right.
please. Yeah, I mean, come on, guys. But Joe Hendry got more exposure on that one WrestleMania than he will for the next 6 months in TNA. That's just a fact. Whether it's good, bad, or ugly, that is a fact. They did more for him. And by the way, it didn't hurt Seth Rollins to be the GIF of the year forever when he tried to do the curb stomp and Orton put him on the RKO. Now we have Joe Hendry doing his pose, and all of a sudden here comes the RKO out of nowhere. So it didn't hurt Seth Rollins. It's not going to hurt Joe Hendry. But Joe Hendry has a ceiling. Randy Orton's a pretty good ceiling for anybody.
Right.
Especially when you consider the man is going to wrestle John Cena for the 97th time at Backlash in St. Louis. So,
Yep.
Allison was much higher on that than I am because of the promo. But
I was. I thought
Anyway.
it was a great promo.
Joe Hendry, though, the right
Yeah.
guy because of the
He was.
response, the reaction, you know.
He's got the crowd, and that was a huge thing. Even though you knew he's not beating Randy Orton, to have a guy that had the crowd's back that much.
Well, how many times do you hear about a WrestleMania moment? That was a WrestleMania moment.
It was.
Correct. Maybe it'll make the Hall of Fame one day.
Let's hope.
Sorry, don't get me started.
Don't get me started.
So
Well,
what I'm
yeah.
looking for, the Hall of Fame moment I want is when the $1 Million Man got the little kid up there to dribble the basketball and then he kicked it. That to me is a Hall of Fame moment.
Sorry.
So good, though. It was so good.
Oh
So
God.
good. Logan Paul defeats
But-
AJ Styles.
No. Did this
I am in a
match
group
happen?
chat where somebody got really upset about this, that Logan Paul beat AJ Styles. Because, and I quote, AJ Styles is a 25-year wrestling veteran. Okay. Who cares? And AJ
And
Styles
he's
doesn't-
there to have a good match with somebody and to lose at this point.
This dude's position is that AJ Styles doesn't deserve to lose because Logan Paul just got up from behind his computer and decided to be a wrestler. The rest of us in the group chat reminded this fool that he's pretty good at it, though.
Yeah.
That's
He
the thing. Like, Logan Paul is pretty good at being a wrestler for somebody who just got up from behind his computer and camera.
And this is the one guy that Cyrus asks about when I say that WrestleMania is happening. Is Logan
See?
Paul, does he have a match? That's who he's asking about.
Yep.
Nice.
It's bigger than wrestling. It's
Correct.
not
It is.
just about the matches. And it's not just about what makes sense. The match I thought was fine. I know there are people that thought it was a snooze fest, but I actually thought it was fine. But
I just think
ma'am.
to me
Man,
it's not a sexy match just because I think it's going to be two really athletic guys that are going to have a good match, but it's not going to mean much.
Right.
Yeah, there were
Yes,
no
it's
stakes to this other than it was well, here's what I didn't
Well,
like about the
There
match.
were no stakes and there was no story.
What
Yeah.
about Karrion Kross coming out being a douchebag? I really hated that.
Again, it was another thing I just didn't understand.
Yeah, they didn't need to do all that.
No.
But now he's going to wrestle AJ, so good for him.
Yeah.
And
There you
what
go,
is that
Dad.
going to mean? I mean, they're
Dad
going to have a
gets to see
story, but
Scarlett
it's going to
again.
be a meaningless story.
Correct.
It's pretty good spot though on WrestleMania for Logan Paul. The one thing they do with him right is he's not overexposed and he's always in a featured spot. Be that the Royal Rumble with Ricochet or Saudi Arabia with Cody or now here WrestleMania, he's always finding himself in a featured spot. And good for him. Good
But
for
I
him.
mean, think about that. He is a celebrity wrestler who has had multiple big spots in pay-per-views. That says something right there. You know, it
Yeah, I don't
really
hate it.
does.
I'm
No,
not a
you
Logan
can't.
Paul hater the way everybody else is. I don't understand the hate because I don't follow him. I don't know what he's done. I know him as a professional wrestler.
Same.
I don't know him any other way.
We don't know him like Cyrus knows him.
Yeah, apparently.
That's right.
Oh, but speaking of the Weaver family and their favorites, the
Oh, yeah.
man came back on WrestleMania.
And she was to be announced, so there's no graphic for that. Unfortunately, I could have shown a picture I drew of her.
Or as we
something like
called
that.
her,
That would work.
TBD.
TBD, yeah.
To
And
be
that's who I
determined.
picked.
But
TBD.
we all knew, we all picked her in our group chat and said it
No,
was
not me.
definitely Becky. You didn't?
No, because I didn't know it was. I hadn't been paying attention, so I didn't think about the fact that it would be Becky. So I was like, "Oh, Liv and Raquel will just retain." And then I thought about it. I'm like, "I'm an idiot. It's going to be Becky." And of
So
course
Becky comes in. Becky. Terry has this thing about redheads. He loves redheads named Becky Lynch.
I mean,
Or
yeah,
not
why?
named Becky Lynch. I mean, if you remember back, if you can remember back
That's
far
true.
enough, when we did the top 10 lady wrestlers, I made sure that the AI knew I wanted a redheaded lady
redhead,
wrestler,
that's
and
right.
that's what we
That
got.
is true. That's fair. Yeah, that's
Very
fair.
true.
Anyway, so Becky Lynch comes back. Not a shocker. They win. Of course, the last time we saw her was in a steel cage match against Liv Morgan. Good on commentary, reminding people of that because it's been a year.
Yeah.
And then, they win. And the next night they lose,
Mhm.
and Becky turns on Lyra, which,
Mhm.
by the way, I saw coming a mile away.
Yep.
If she's going to be the third man, as they call it, with Paul Heyman, good for her. I don't think Becky needs to be in the world title picture. I think her stardom transcends the women's title.
Yeah.
But if she can get something out of it, out of being with Paul Heyman and her husband at this point in her career, good for her.
Absolutely.
And Lyra Valkyrie, in the same group chat where the guy complaining about AJ, there's another man who calls Lyra Valkyrie C-SPAN. And it makes me laugh because he's saying she's the most boring person.
Oh my God. That's horrible.
So he calls her C-SPAN, which I really like because she is C-SPAN. To me, she's got no charisma. She's just not very good. But
that's so bad.
And then Medusa sent me a text about how much she thinks she's got an upside, and I'm like, C-SPAN.
Sure.
C-SPAN.
Sure.
So it is what it is.
Okay.
The main event, are we here?
Yes, we're here.
Is it time? Is the time now to ruin Cyrus's childhood?
Well, I got to tell you, these are two of his favorites.
Yeah.
These are his favorites. AJ Styles was a favorite. So all of his favorites kind of wrestled each other at WrestleMania.
John Cena becomes the 17-time world champion, defeating Cody Rhodes in a very methodical professional wrestling match. A very safe professional wrestling match.
It was clean, right?
Travis Scott, kind of, but it was very clean. Yes,
I don't count Travis Scott because he has go away heat with me. He needs to just go away.
He certainly does, since he didn't come out with The Rock for me. I mean,
And they made a huge deal out of it. Like music played and he walked slowly down. It's like you don't do that for anybody that's not a huge deal, and it's like killed me.
Because I will admit there were a number of people who texted me going, "Who is this?"
Right.
I only know who he is because of wrestling.
The Rock no showing the main event hurt the main event.
Yeah.
He can say all he wanted that this was about Cody and the whole deal with the soul. You had yourself inserted in Top Line Creative. The whole story revolves around you convincing a 20-year babyface to turn heel, and then you no-show your own creative. Garbage.
Absolutely.
He's also a chai tea with extra foam drinker, like Devin Williams. Clearly. Um,
I mean, they
I
had a
thought-
shirt. They had a shirt at the store, at the Wrestlemania store, that said, "Finally, The Rock has come back to Las Vegas." Could you imagine if you spent money on that shirt? How fucking pissed off you would be?
yeah. And he was in Hawaii the whole time. And WWE never really said he wasn't going to be there, and so you allowed fans to believe
Yeah.
that they were going to see The Rock.
I mean,
Those people that paid $1,000 to sit
that's
in
what
the
I'm saying.
nosebleed sections,
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about a good reason to get your fan base enraged.
You got it.
Cody loses in a non-spectacular way. John Cena wins in a non-spectacular way. I think it took 4 attitude adjustments. Like, again, this is AEW, where we don't know what a finishing move is. Despite the fact Cody hit the crossroads one time and left John Cena laying like 4 times leading up to this match. But anyway,
Yeah.
John Cena wins. Ric Flair's record is broken. Although he'll tell you now it's 21 times, but
And Jerry Lawler had like 56 or something.
yeah, I
If
really
you-
don't have
depending
any.
on what you
I
count.
don't have any
Yeah.
thoughts on this because this match just was, and it was supposed to be more about the story with The Rock, and then The Rock just doesn't show up.
Yeah.
That's my thing about it.
Well, my
Like-
thing now is, where do you go with it? Nobody believes John Cena is a viable wrestler right now on his own. So there's got to be a story with it. Where's the story going now?
And John Cena did not look great in this match.
No.
I don't think he did anything egregiously wrong. And again, like the Charlotte Tiffy match, this did exceed my expectations, but that's because they were extremely low.
It was a slow.
He's just at that
safe
age.
match. Yeah, exactly.
He's never, I mean, I don't think he's going to be much better than that.
Mm-mm.
He might be a little bit better if he keeps getting in the ring and doing it, but I think he's at that age. He's just not going to provide much more.
So let me ask you guys a question, because I actually thought about this. Do you think that this was his plan all along to return to wrestling, or do you think that they convinced him? Because
I don't think it. I think he
think
was
they
sold
could've.
on it.
I think they must have paid him some serious money to do this.
Yeah, I think he was sold on it. I don't think he ever had any intention of coming back to wrestling.
I think it only happened because Triple H came back and ideas were thrown around and The Rock got involved. And
And there's a lot of money available now.
yeah,
A lot of money.
Let's be
Wait till
honest.
they go to Saudi.
Oh God, yeah. All right.
Wait till
well,
they take John Cena to Saudi.
so
They're
what
going
did
to be
we
able
think?
to get $100 million.
Oh yeah, absolutely. What did night 2 get you for a rating?
4 stars. Far better than the
Really?
first night.
Wow. All right. I'm gonna be honest and only give it like 3.5.
But it was still average.
Yeah.
Still
it
average.
wasn't. Yeah.
The women's match accounts for 2 of those stars.
Okay. Terry, what do you
And then
think?
there's AJ and Logan.
Yeah.
It would have been a
I
lot better
probably
match
think
if
I
The
think
Rock-
4, but I think the way they did things was questionable in some cases, like the whole Travis Scott things. Like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, if The
I
Rock
thought
had shown
Joe
up,
Hendry coming out was great with Orton, but that's not going to put you at really high stars. That was just a good decision when you had to make a decision. Logan Paul, AJ Styles, good match because they're not going to have a bad match, but not real sexy, as I said. Lyra and Becky coming out was good. John Cena winning was good, but like I said, the Travis Scott thing. But yeah, 4 stars, but that's top end of it.
All right. Okay. I hear you. I will say, I made this comment. I don't remember if I made it to you guys or who I made it to. I was glad I didn't go. And for me to say that I was glad to not go to Las Vegas, you know that I didn't think it would have been worth the money. And I think I was justified and I was right. And so afterwards I went, good job.
nice.
Because I think I would have been mad if I went
Yeah,
and
I think.
dropped $3,000 or something like on this.
Well, because the thing is, it's not just the event you're going to.
Right.
Between the travel, the hotel, the food, even if
Yeah.
you gambled or don't gamble, you go to a show, whatever. Point
Yeah.
being, you're going to spend a shitload of money to go to Las Vegas, with this being the central reason you went, only to be disappointed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
What about the main event of our show, Terry? Do we know
Woo!
anything about video games from 40 years ago?
I do.
We do know
my
that
God,
because
I
we
love
are
this.
pretty damn old. And tonight, we're going to do video games, the Nintendo Entertainment System, and the Sega Genesis. And if you are watching, you see this awesome picture that ChatGPT made of me in my scally cap and my gray beard and my TNA Top 10 shirt. Apparently, I'm kicking Hulk Hogan in the head. I did not tell ChatGPT to put that in there, but
Everybody's upset.
ChatGPT thought that would be awesome. So that's what we get.
Love it. All right. Is anybody mad
Man.
at you this week?
No complaints at all. So I just skipped that page.
Wow.
I will explain some things though before we
Okay.
go into who just missed it. We had a little bit of a discussion about do we do franchises. And then the way I approached it was I'm not doing sports franchises because nobody wants to say NHL 92 was better than NHL 94, which is a lie, but nobody wants to do that.
Well, cocky. There, I got
I'm
it.
waiting
Bill
for it.
Walsh versus Bill Walsh 97. We're not doing that. But when it came to Super Mario Brothers, those are completely different games. Sports kind of just builds on rosters and maybe a little bit of improvement. But when you have these games like that, Sonic, Super Mario Brothers, those are vastly different games. We can get into the difference between the American version of Super Mario Brothers 2 versus the international version because the Japanese version was just a much harder version of Super Mario Brothers 1. But
Legit.
we didn't get that as Americans because the Japanese thought we couldn't play that game because we're not as good at video games. But
Well, they're probably not wrong.
I was gonna
they're
say,
probably not
they're
because I'm like, what button do I push?
Allison falls
That's why
down the
we're
hole
talking
again.
Nintendo,
Oh,
not like computer games or something.
Yeah.
But let's talk about what missed the cut.
Oh,
These
come
four
on.
missed the cut. So Paperboy, which I really loved.
I loved Paperboy.
Aladdin from the Sega Genesis. Bill
I
Walsh
did like
College
Aladdin.
Football.
That one made my list because I
A
love
lot of
Aladdin.
people, I don't think I ever played it, but I was talking to a guy at soccer practice the other day, and he loved this game. It was like
Yep.
one of the best games he ever played.
Was this the one where you were riding on the carpet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it
No,
had the
maybe I
music and
played it.
stuff with it, and you would have to you had to get away from the king's guards and all that stuff.
Okay.
And then there was one where you went into the
Agrabah?
No, the cave of wonders or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And then there was one where you had to deal with Jafar. I mean, it was great. It was
Good
one of the
stuff.
only games I've ever conquered. Was
Nice.
Aladdin.
All right.
They got the original Bill Walsh College Football, and this is the first game in the NCAA football series.
Oh.
So Electronic Arts started in '93 with Bill Walsh Football,
Wow.
and my friend and I used to get Auburn '83 and run all over folks. And then the last one's Mortal Kombat. I think maybe Mortal Kombat 2 was on the Genesis, but I just put Mortal Kombat. It almost made me
Mortal Kombat.
See, I only
Finish
played
him.
Mortal Kombat on the arcade. Like, I
What a
never-
trash ass movie, though. Let's talk about the movie Mortal Kombat. What a trash ass movie Mortal Kombat was in comparison to the video game. And by the way, everybody played with Scorpion or Sub-Zero in
Always.
Mortal Kombat
Yeah.
because they were the two best, and everybody knew they were the two best. Like, it wasn't a secret that they were the best.
No.
And I hear the dogs. They're about to come in.
Uh-oh.
But anyway,
Let's start
yeah,
the list.
Mortal Kombat. And then when we shoot the arrow back, come here, bam, and finish.
Is Mortal Kombat the one where they pull out the head and the spine comes with it?
Yes. Flawless victory.
So good.
I
Finish
do this
him.
whole thing for
Finish
you.
it.
And then
That's what
the
she
old
said.
what's his name? Chown down. It has begun. He freaks out at the
Oh,
end.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and this inspired that horrible wrestling gimmick in WCW, right? What was the guy's name?
Glacier?
Glacier. Yeah, supposedly that
Oh,
came straight
wow.
from Mortal Kombat, but it was a few years too late, so nobody cared at that point.
Yeah, Glacier and Mortis.
Mortis was
Wow.
better than Glacier, though. I mean, as far as the gimmick goes, because I think that fit better than Glacier did. But that's my opinion. Let's go ahead and start the list. Number 10, Donkey Kong. Classic game.
Hell
Donkey
yeah.
Kong makes it to number 10. Not Donkey Kong Country. That came later on other systems. This is Donkey Kong. And I'm like, okay, I don't know that I played a ton of this
Oh, I did.
personally.
Yeah,
love
I
Donkey
didn't play tons and tons of Donkey Kong. Sorry that I was muted so that y'all didn't have to hear those two assholes in the back screaming at each other. Not people, dogs. They don't know how to behave themselves. Anyway, yeah, Donkey Kong was not my favorite. It really wasn't. But I mean,
So
it
I
was,
I was really bad at most video games. I could play this one pretty decently, so
Okay.
that's why it was one of my favorites. I wasn't good at the shoot 'em up games or the sports games, so this was more my style.
It's a classic. I mean, a lot of people play Donkey Kong either at the arcade,
Yep.
on the Nintendo. I think it was it on the Atari? Maybe.
No,
I
think
don't know. I don't know
I don't
about
know.
the Atari. I know it was on Sega, or one of the Donkey Kongs was on Sega,
I don't know.
and
Right.
it might have been the Donkey Kong Run you were talking about, Terry.
Donkey
be.
Kong Country. Yeah,
Or
that was
Donkey
on.
Kong Country.
Yeah, no, that was on Super Nintendo, if I believe. But I'd have to do.
Uh,
I'd have to know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Number
what's number
9, NHL hockey, and I put the whole series on here. But I will tell you, I did not watch hockey on TV. I did not care to watch hockey on TV, but I played the hell out of some NHL hockey '94 with my friend. Um, it was so fun.
Yeah.
But I did. Here's what I did. Not knowing hockey, I turned off rules because I didn't know hockey rules. Icing was the first thing that went. That way I could
Yep.
pass all the way down
All the way down
ice.
to the end.
Yeah, I didn't know how to even not get icing called on me, so I turned it off.
See, I grew
Yeah,
up with lots of hockey. My cousins all played hockey, play today. They're coaches and whatever. This game was always on at somebody's house. Somebody was always playing this. So yeah.
I'm about to blow Allison's mind.
Oh,
First
God.
of all, Terry, Donkey Kong Country was on the Sega Genesis, so we were
Okay.
correct there. I looked it up. Number 2, I played this game. Yeah, like Terry, fuck icing. I turn that shit off, and I just go
Yeah.
broad kicking everybody into the boards. Like, forget it. This is how we're playing today. Icing was stupid.
It
Like,
was fun.
Just such
It
a
was
dumb
great
penalty.
game.
But anyway,
EA really knows how to make sports games. I
Yeah,
will say
I'll
that.
give you
Maybe.
that.
And I sent my
Absolutely.
resume to them out of college, and they sent me a test, and I looked at the test, and I'm like, this is not stuff that I want to do, and I just trashed it.
Well, I mean, at least you tried.
Exactly.
Hey.
So I did
All right.
other. Number 8, Tecmo Super Bowl, and I put Tecmo Super Bowl because it is the more recent of the Tecmo Bowl, Tecmo Super Bowl games.
Yeah.
Loved this.
Meh.
Played a lot of this.
I
don't
never
think we
played
had
this.
Yeah, I don't think
Really?
we had this.
Mm-mm.
Wow.
Never
This
played
was
this.
this was a real simple football game where you had, I think, 3 plays to pick, and the defense did not have plays. You tried to pick the play of the offense, and if you did, you dominated their offensive line and got in the backfield.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did not ever play this one.
Yeah, so I mean, Bo Jackson was really great on Tecmo Bowl. I would get the
God.
Eagles because Randall Cunningham was awesome, really fun because it was simple. You didn't have to know a ton of stuff, like hand
That's
off to
good.
Ricky Waters or
Yeah.
pass. You know,
Yeah, dive, dive,
Right,
dive,
exactly.
dive. Left, right, up the middle.
All right.
Number
good one.
7,
Didn't know it was that way.
NBA Jam.
There you
You
go.
Number
said you loved this.
7.
Yeah,
Number 7.
He's mad this is very low.
What is wrong with people?
I didn't
This
vote for
was
this, so that's why.
the game. This was the
It was
game.
great.
NBA Jam. Especially if you were a 90s kid growing up in the Michael Jordan basketball
God
era.
bless that era.
NBA Jam was the jam. I don't know what's wrong with everybody today.
but it wasn't
Oh.
just basketball players. You had like P Funk on there, and and just random celebrities were on there, and they had weird.
Oh, I was just
dunks.
talking about the popularity of basketball as a
Oh,
whole.
yeah.
when
Oh,
Jordan
yeah,
and
no,
Kobe were
absolutely.
around. Yeah,
Right. And you
Yeah.
would get a
100%.
code for some celebrity that you could put on the game.
Really?
Oh, it was.
Oh, yeah.
It was definitely an arcade style game. There was
My
no
favorite
real
thing to do
strategy.
would to go when he's heating up and they do the commentary, and
Oh,
then you
yeah.
just shoot 3-pointers from like
You
half
just
court.
fired up at that point. It's like you can't miss. Yeah. It was great.
Oh my
You
God.
couldn't miss. You're all of a sudden you're Steph Curry in 1990. You know,
Yeah.
You're like,
I love it.
It was
crazy.
fun.
My
right.
favorite game ever on the Sega.
But not everybody else's. Sorry.
Apparently not,
Apparently not.
because a lot of older folks.
Oh,
voting on
good.
this.
Older folks? Good. That means my favorite will be up there. I'm excited.
Old people, y'all need your
Number 6.
retirement home. Get
Shut
your
up. It's
insurance
past
out.
my bedtime, all right?
Super
Mario
Mario.
Brothers.
Hell yeah.
The original Super Mario, not
Hell
Mario Brothers. I kind
No.
of wonder if people got confused there, because I did do the Mario Brothers, the Donkey
Oh,
Kong
no,
style
that's
Mario Brothers.
that's
But that's
OG.
a different game than this.
Correct.
This is Super Mario Brothers, the original for the Nintendo Entertainment.
One of 4 or 5 games I've ever beat in my entire life.
And then it would start over and put more enemies on there or something, or it was faster or something like that.
Mhm.
I have never beaten this game. I am all right with that because the amount of frustration that this game would evoke in my household growing up, no, that's okay. I love this game though. But
Look at the year that it was created. You're welcome. Like me and the Four Horsemen and WrestleMania. Nintendo, 1984.
I was 9.
And then this is back in the day where you didn't get to save your spot for months
right.
on end and keep adding to it. Eventually, you're going to die for the last time, and it's going to the title screen.
Yep.
Oh God. Let's not even think about that.
And it would honestly depend on how good a day you were having. There would be days where I would go one time through it into the 4th or 5th level. And then there were times where I couldn't make it out of the 1st or 2nd level without dying. It just depended on the day you were having. So,
Number 5, Tetris.
Okay.
And there's a lot of games like this now, but back then there weren't.
No.
I mean, Tetris, 1989.
This was addiction level game for me.
I was really good at Tetris. Really good at Tetris on both the Nintendo and the Game Boy.
I mean, you're good at math. It's not a surprise. People don't put these together, but this is kind of like being able to do math on the fly when you see Tetris. When
And
you
the
see
on the fly part kept getting pressured because it would speed up.
Yeah.
Speed up. And you're like, oh, let me put it somewhere. Let me put it
So
somewhere.
good. Love this game. Absolutely. I play this game to this day.
It's great. Yeah, I play
Yeah.
something very similar to this on
Right.
the cell phone.
Exactly. Good
Number 4, Legend
Hell
of
yeah.
Zelda, which
And
did
this is
have a
OG.
save option,
This
and
is
it had
OG,
a
right?
gold cartridge because the
Yes.
gold cartridge meant it had extra pieces in there so you could save.
Yes. God. This game
And what
is
about
so
the
good.
cartridges? We didn't even talk about blowing in them like that was
Oh,
going to
yeah.
help.
Oh yeah, my brother worked at a video store, so we grew up, and it was closed on Sunday, so he would bring anything he wanted home on Saturday, and we could play it all day Sunday and take it back Monday.
That's phenomenal.
And then we would get like
Spoiled.
Yeah.
systems and stuff,
Oh,
And she got mad one time because people are like, I was listening to her because this guy brought this cartridge back and said it wasn't working. He's like, I blew in it and everything, and she got pissed off because he blew in it. Like, don't be blowing in it.
that's
Like,
what
that's
you
what
need
you
to
do.
That's how you
lady.
fix it. Yeah,
How you
exactly.
fix it, ma'am. Do you not understand that dust is the enemy to Nintendo system cartridges? Hello.
Anybody have a Game Genie?
Oh no, I remember that.
I had a Game Genie.
I remember
Cheat
them, but I
codes
didn't
left
have
and
one.
right. You could
Cheat
just make it
codes,
really
yep.
easy. I did that mostly on Super Nintendo with Sim City because I played a lot of Sim City because I was a nerd kid.
That checks out.
Hey,
I played
I
a
played
lot of Sin City.
I played
Yeah, exactly.
Civilization, Terry. So you want to talk
Yeah.
about being nerds? Let's go.
Spent some
Exactly.
time in the locker. Who am I kidding? I was a Risk fan. Let's play a board
See,
game.
so let's
Oh, I love Risk. I would always get hit by that backside attack because I was acting like the earth was flat.
I can't.
That's what he said. Oh, backside attack. Damn,
Okay, what's
Jerry.
number 3?
Like
Include was
unintentionally
another of my
funny.
favorites. But anyway,
Oh,
number 3,
My favorite
Mike
thing was
Tyson's
backside
Punch Out,
attack.
and man,
Oh yeah.
what
Okay,
a fabulous! This is like nothing else has ever
Yeah,
been.
look, NBA Jam, y'all wrong on, but how the hell did Mike Tyson's Punch Out finish 3rd?
This game was fantastic.
If NBA Jam ain't 1, how is this 3?
Yeah, this was.
Well, you'll see
I
what
think
the
I know
top 2
why.
are, and
Yeah.
yeah, it should be predictable at this point. But
this game was out of this world.
another one where you had at least they introduced the codes where when you got to a certain point you could get the code and write it down, but everybody just shared the codes. You get your Nintendo Power magazine and find
Yep.
out what the codes were. But yeah, this was so fabulous. Love
Great.
this game.
Yep.
Yeah, Punch Out was great.
And I would get to Mike Tyson, and that son of a bitch was so fast.
So fast.
Just knocked me
Couldn't
out
beat
with
him.
one punch.
Every
Couldn't
time.
beat him.
Yep. That's a good game right there.
It is. Oh, and that song where he's riding the bike,
Oh God.
or like he's running and his trainer's riding the bike. I mean, that song is just stuck in my head.
Kids today don't appreciate these sorts of things.
This is correct.
Oh, and the guy's fist shaking, and then you hit the button, and his fist would shake even faster. And then you would power up.
Notice the gesture. His fist would shake even.
Moving along to number 2, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Hey,
right.
it's my guy.
If you don't hear coins or rings dropping when you see this picture, you are way too young because all I hear are the rings dropping.
That and the shitty music, and then you had to save. What were we trying to save from the guy? The little animals or whatever they were, or
I don't
remember because when you conquered the level,
I don't
that you would get like these little baby animals or whatever they were.
Yeah,
You are testing my knowledge, and that's a big no. I have
that's
no
right.
love-
It's not as obvious as the princess is in another castle.
Yeah, I loved Sonic. Sonic was so good.
Didn't we
But
have
again-
a text about this the other day? Like somebody said somebody looked like Sonic.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
What was
Yeah,
that?
some-
Do you
Oh,
remember?
yeah.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, I don't remember who it was.
Then I said, let's see if they drop a bunch of coins or something.
Yeah. We did talk about that. You're right.
I don't remember what it was.
I don't know, but I
Anyway,
like this
I like
game
Sonic,
because yeah, it was different than the Mario. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously it was different system, but with this one I always felt like this was a little bit harder because
It's so
you-
fast.
that's it. And you had to go fast, and I
Yeah.
guess that's kind of what was appealing about it.
And that's what they really played on. This is
Yeah.
a really fast game.
And a
But I
lot of
mean,
fun.
to me, the Genesis controller was looser with the controls.
Hmm.
And I didn't like it as much just because of that.
Okay,
Yeah, they
I think-
are animals that he's responsible for saving.
there you go.
Yeah, I had to look it up. There's Sally Acorn, Johnny
Names.
Lightfoot, Joe Sushi, Rocky, Tux was Pecky, Chirps is Cookie, Cucky,
Okay.
and Porker Lewis was Picky.
Porker Lewis.
Yeah, was Picky.
That's funny. All right.
Yeah,
I think I know what number 1 is, but let's see.
I think we should all know what number 1 is. And it
Better be
is
Wrestling.
Super Mario
Oh,
Brothers
Super Mario
3.
Brothers 3. Wrestling didn't even make the cut. Look at
It
that.
did not. Wrestling was pretty far down the list.
This is a
Super Mario
fantastic
Brothers
game.
3. This is definitely the best Super Mario Brothers game on the Nintendo Entertainment
Yes,
System. Obviously, Super Mario World came with the Super Nintendo, and they just N64 had some good Mario games, but this was fantastic, especially after the real stinker that Super Mario Brothers 2 was that they put out in the United States. Super Mario Brothers 3 came back with a lot of new stuff.
Yep.
And it was fabulous.
Yeah, we had the outfits for Mario, which really were phenomenal, which came with new powers and things. and
Right.
this was a game changer, if you ask me, in the Mario world. Like, this was a real game changer. This introduced us in the US to a lot of the Nintendo characters. a lot of the Super Mario World characters in this game, so this was pretty good.
Well, and you could do the jumps to levels and that sort of stuff, so it was different than having to go
Yes.
linearly through the
Yeah.
game.
Very good point.
Right.
It's fun to see how these evolved over time, you know.
But
You
like
think
when
about-
you play you get the chance box and you could get the flying squirrel or whatever.
Tanuki Mario,
Yeah.
I
I
mean-
mean,
whoever it is.
wasn't it the flying squirrel?
Yeah, it's called Tanuki. Tanuki Mario is the
Yeah.
that's who he is
But
when
you know,
he's
you get
flying
the
around.
tail and you'd be able to knock
Yep.
things with the tail and stuff. I mean, because it was such an upgrade from just jumping on something or getting fireballs
Right.
and hitting the
Yep.
B button and being able to shoot it, you know?
Yep.
And it's funny how much better we thought the graphics were
Oh,
when this
God,
came
they're
out.
horrible.
That's
And then I
true,
look
though.
at this title screen and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
Folks, the cameras are in focus. This is exactly how it looked on your television
That is
in
correct.
1989.
Exactly.
Oh, that's a fun list. That's a good
Let me
list.
run it down.
That was really good.
Video games, NES versus Genesis. Number 10, Donkey Kong. Number 9, NHL Hockey Series. Number 8, Tecmo Super Bowl. Number 7, NBA Jam. Number 6, Super Mario Brothers. Number 5, Tetris. Number 4, The Legend of Zelda. Number 3, Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Number 2, Sonic the Hedgehog. And number 1, Super Mario Brothers 3.
So one that didn't make the list, and I want to ask you guys about. Did you ever play Dr. Mario?
I think
No.
I may have, but
Okay.
not much. I
So
think
I was
I didn't own it.
I was addicted to Tetris, but when Dr. Mario came out, it was a whole new ball game. It was
Wait
like
a minute. Dr.
it was like-
Mario's the one that's like Tetris with the pills, isn't it?
correct.
Yeah.
It
Definitely
was
played Dr. Mario. Yeah.
that was another one that I would get sucked into for hours because just like in Tetris, it would speed up. It was nuts. I loved it. Anyway, I just wanted to give it a shout out because I really liked that game.
Awesome. Good list. Thanks everybody
Yes.
for voting and anybody that's watching tonight or listening. Thank you so much. It was a fun one.
This was a great list.
It was. I enjoyed that.
Fantastic.
I enjoy the fun ones like that are just light.
Yep.
And you know, some people we try to do lists that most people can relate to, and there's going to be some that maybe you don't know a lot about, and you know, there's probably some people that didn't really play a lot of video games that maybe didn't vote this time, but there'll be something for you later.
You got it. What's going on our friends' show this week?
So I'm not sure what it is, but
Mhm.
I do know that they are moving to Thursday night this week.
Okay.
Talking Wrestling with Pondwater and Amy, they will record Thursday. I am not sure who their guest may be or what they'll be talking about. Recently, I guess they did a preview and review of WrestleMania, and they'll move on to something else now.
And they were on tonight with the draft coverage along with David Westbrook.
Okay,
Ah, okay. Cool. All right. Well, this
a lot
was
of
a
fun
good show.
stuff.
Yeah.
Anything else we got?
I'm good. This was
For now,
this was fun.
no.
It is
So-
way past my bedtime.
So let's talk out loud. We kind of talked a little bit
Yes.
before we recorded, just to let you guys know. And our friend Alex made a great suggestion, and we are going to make 2 polls out of his suggestion for Mother's Day, which is coming up pretty soon. We are going to do top 10 TV moms.
Hell yeah.
So I'll start putting that together. The only question is, and we'll talk after the show and figure out our timing, whether we want to record Mother's Day weekend or if we want to go ahead and do that list for next week. We will figure that out and we'll let you guys know. And if not, then we'll come up with something else, which means we don't know what that is yet.
So
which
thank you,
is,
Alex. And,
you know,
and if
yes,
anybody
thank
else has any ideas, let us know.
And I will ask
Oh,
ChatGPT, but I will tell you, we are probably pretty good because when I asked ChatGPT, it gave me a bunch of stuff like top 10 pizza toppings, top 10 ice creams. It
Hey.
actually said road trip snacks. So either it is looking at our show to do this, or we are right on the money on this stuff.
Not bottle caps. I bet you chat GPT would have said
Let me tell you,
not
my
bottle
alternative to bottle caps, since I can't find bottle caps, I've been eating the hell out of some sprees.
I was gonna say, and for those of
Oh.
you who've been watching a long time, we call that a callback. Bottle caps. Terry, fuck your bottle caps and go
I love 'em.
Yankees.
If you happen upon some and you don't like them, send them my way.
Send them to Terry.
Oh, too funny.
Awesome.
Do
Awesome.
we got anything else before we need to go? Thanks everybody for tuning in. Let me get it to the right thing so I know my sound off thing here. But thank you, Allison. Thank you, Andrew. Maybe we can start being a little bit more weekly. Obviously, all of us have pretty busy lives, and I'll just bring it up when we get to football season. It might be tough to do 2 shows. We'll have to figure that out because
And that's fine.
that's a timeline thing with the 2
Yeah.
shows, and especially with the football show. So the football show may have to be brought in just as part of this show, but we'll obviously talk about that. I haven't talked to Allison or Andrew about that yet. But we will keep having a show as long as we can. Obviously, it's not going to be weekly all the time, but we're going to do our best. But I enjoy it every time we do it.
It's a good time.
That's
For us, anyway.
It is. We hope you enjoy it. Thanks everybody that tuned in. We got the numbers up fairly high tonight for a Sunday.
Yeah.
I've been watching that a little bit to see
Mhm.
what Sunday night does because it's a little different than what we've been doing. But we appreciate you all. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And as always, love your people. Tell them you love them. Make it weird. See you next time, everybody.